Hello, how are you doing today? Hello, Chanel. It's good to see you again. I've missed you, friend. Don't worry, I will be jumping back into Final Fantasy onto my main so I can visit you again. Don't worry, I will see you. But hopefully everyone's doing well today. I am very, very sleepy. Oh. So, not last night, not before, I did super long stream of 8 hours. Did not get any sleep afterwards, because I mentioned I had to help my brother yesterday and the day before. Oh, just yesterday I had to help my brother. I was hoping to get a couple hours sleep, but I got none. Could not get to sleep. So I had an energy drink in the morning. No sleep throughout the day. Finally slept last night. Got to sleep around midnight. And then I woke up at 6 a.m. by my nephew. I'm running on empty. But I thought, I gotta do this. I gotta do more. You missed me too, but not much because I didn't give you guild. But... I gotta do my own bonk emote. That or I might... I might try and find an artist to commission. I mean, that sip is nice that they have, but I think I prefer mine. Just because, yeah. He's still sitting over there. He's a little mascot. I love him. He just has a big soda, has big sips. He's a good boy. What have you been up to lately, Chanel? If I may ask. Also, my head is also very... Oh, no. If I go to this side, it loses focus. I'm also making strides on altering my... Like, doing the whole helmet swap. I ran into a couple brick walls, and then last night I may have found a nice little sledgehammer to destroy those walls. I was going to test it out before, but then I'm running out of time. Crafting, sleeping, and dreaming. Aww. Sleeping, I feel jealous. Same with the dreaming. No, we don't want music. Final Fantasy. My PlayStation did turn off. Alright, I had to make this quick little announcement thing. So, last stream, I beat the Red Dragon as one of the hunt targets. I was going to go to the town, check the rewards, and then possibly talk to Otto and then turn off for the night. But my internet had died. I noticed that I was going to town and then I couldn't fix the internet in time, so I didn't progress. So quite literally, all that happened off stream was I changed areas. Am I getting married? Well, rumor has it my Australian Final Fantasy character might be getting married. Hello, Sasha! How are you doing today? It's good to see you. Sasha, meet Chanel. Chanel, meet Sasha. So to explain why my Australian character is getting married, so fellow streamer, VTuber, Mailman started playing 14 on the Australian servers, and he's playing as a Lalafell, so I visited him with my Lalafell, and started acting like his father. I was like, son, you have much to learn about this world. You cannot go idly by through it. And then he was saying his backstory of how his character is out for vengeance because someone killed his older brother. I'm like, your older brother? The clown? Well, no. He was an unfortunate clown accident. So I never wanted you to be a clown, son. And then one of his other viewers started joining going, yeah, son, you shouldn't be too upset about this. So now they've started saying to me, it's like, when are we going to get our characters married? Like, man, I finished the story. Wedding Lala babies. Well, my character is a Here and... I'm not a Here, I'm a Makote, and they're a Aura. But we have a Lala baby. Should accept the wife before you're married. I mean, next time I stream 14, if they come on by, I'll be like, Chanel, check them out. This will be my wife. Alright, load back in. So quite literally, I walked here. I went to this counter with Desiree, and I'm like, oh. Everything is crashing. Why is everything crashing? I didn't talk to Otto, didn't talk to anyone else.
How may I help you today, Clive?
Show your alt to your data center. Well, I'm currently playing on Ravana, but only Oceania characters can, visit Oceania characters. Which sucks because we only have the one data center. Trying to barter with your mother to give you more monies to buy more points in a gacha game because you want Ava Unit 1. Yeah, I can imagine the want for it. I mean, I remember when I was younger, I was super into a gacha game. Exclusive to Japan, did not understand the story, but I learnt where the menus were. And I was buying iTunes gift cards online because I couldn't link my bank card to a Japanese account. I had to get a Japanese iTunes gift card and use that. And my goodness, I spent so much on this game. It's ridiculous thinking back. You moved. I will be happy to see your character.
Received and everything promised.
Hugo's men are gone, and with them, the fear in our hearts. One more shall the markets echo with the mirth and merriment. It is you who we have to thank. Ah, that's from Dalamil.
All yours.
What is 1,500 ability points. Since I can, or from a lowly porter, since I can remember, I have served none but myself. Turn my back on the world for a handful of silks and a heavy purse. But where has that left me? It is hard to keep joy in one's heart when all those around you are without. Something must change, and that change must start with me. I got a new equestrian.
Here you are. Best of luck out there, Sid.
And an ember.
I pity those in the villages.
You'll move or create an alt. I mean, you can create an alt. I mean, that's what I'm doing. I'm slowly playing through the Realm Reborn story. Also, Chanel, because you're someone who plays Final Fantasy XIV, does the Orchestrion look familiar to you? They were a little bit lazy with this one. It wasn't this. No risk, no reward. Yep, I'm on Ravana. It's odd you get the battle music. Alright, also one quick little look-see. Abilities. 2,400. Alright, so all these I've already gotten. Oh, the ones I'm currently using. They've all been upgraded. I would love to upgrade Giga Flare. I might get... Well, upgrade Impulse. Looking at it. Raging Fist has been fully upgraded. Lightning Rod was fully upgraded. I think I just continue saving up. No, it's Heat Wave and Giga Flare that I'm using. Alright. There's a few things in this where it's like you can tell they kind of grabbed it from 14. Like there's a character in here. She is the most Final Fantasy XIV looking character.
Back again?
Like, I don't know what, I think it's the hair or something.
Till next you need me.
Now, I talked to Otto, continue the story.
Was wondering when you turn up. Had owls from all our friends thanking you for your timely intervention. How is it you always manage to arrive at just the right moment?
Luck, I suppose. Any word on the rest of the realm?
Do you have
let's
Shinji
see.
as well?
Storm's
Sure,
still
I'd like to see him.
crying
Sorry, I
out
didn't
for
see a
mother
message
crystals.
before.
The nations are still in chaos. And the skies are still the colour of a kick in the kidneys 2 days on. So,
Right.
Clive, we knew this was going to happen. Well, not the bleeding skies part, but you take my point. Now's not the time to second guess yourself. Now's the time to visit the infirmary. Taya says your brother's awake.
Thank you, Otto.
That bro's awake. You have a cute aura. Show it in the Discord.
So it was not Sylvester, but Olivier who served as Ultima's puppet. And when Dion learned of this, he sought to slay the fiend. Only for his father to take the spear that would have freed him. Enough to drive a man to madness.
Small wonder he hasn't stirred. I would be afraid to wake.
I thought the guy was dead.
Had I but reached out to him sooner, warned him of the threat Ultima posed. But now, both an empire and her prince lie broken.
Joshua, what do you know of Ultima?
Very little, I'm afraid. Despite my best efforts. 18 years ago, as I lay buried beneath the rubble of Phoenix Gate, 'twas not death who came for me, but another. And it was while in my rescuer's care, I first heard of Ultima. I've been chasing his shadow ever since. Ultima is driven by some deep, dark purpose, and for whatever reason, it would seem you are crucial to his designs. He will stop at nothing to have you, even if that means toppling an empire.
But why me? What possible use could I be to such a creature?
Not you, it's Ifriti once.
That is one of many answers that have eluded me. Yet, I am certain of this. It is not mere chance. You were chosen for a reason. All dominants carry within them the might of an icon. Nigh limitless power that is at once acutely limited. I wield fire, and only fire.
And I only ice. 8 wardens for 8 elements. But you, Clive.
You are different. You're special. Your abilities begin with the flames of Ifrit. But they do not end there. The fact Ifrit can even exist goes against everything we thought we knew of dominance. Perhaps Ultima has been waiting for one such as you, whose potential is truly limitless.
I've
I've encountered that
Battle
thing
Cat.
several times now. If it or he, as you say, needs me, why hasn't he come
I've
to
seen
me
this
as he did the
game.
boy?
I'd be interested in checking it out myself.
Were I to hazard a guess,
That's a cool.
I'd say the two of you are somehow incompatible. His mind not properly attuned to your body.
His mind.
Mind, awareness, spirit, call it what you wish. But I believe Ultima to be an embodiment of the concept. It is why I struggle and fail to contain him here inside me.
I'm sorry. Inside you.
With every setting sun, I feel my strength wane. And though the Phoenix's flames mend the prison I have made for Ultima, they do so at a cost. We must find a means to bring an end to him before I meet my own.
What were you thinking?
It was that or let him take Clive. And I've always had a soft spot for my brother.
Aww.
But that doesn't mean you should sacrifice yourself
Brotherly
to save
love.
me.
Joshua. Clive, it's Gav. There's an army of Akashic at the gates of Canver.
Has Gav kept his eye on him? Yeah, this game is a lot more bloody and
Well, what's the short of
nudity
it?
than 14.
Tyre told you. The capital of the Free Cities is under siege by an army of monstrosities.
Also, if you have a choice between a cat and
City
Shinji's
guards doing
dad,
their
I get the
best
dad.
to stem the tide, but numbers ain't on their side.
What of Lord Byron and Mid? Were they able to escape?
No, but they're all right for now. They're hiding with Gav at midship.
We have to get them out of there.
And we shall. Otto, prepare a Stolas. Tell Gav to stay exactly where he is.
Understood.
Vivian, what's the swiftest route to the Free Cities?
That sounds like a question for the map. Look here. This road, through Tabor, should provide the least trouble.
Good.
What a coincidence. Tabor is exactly where I'm bound.
Joshua, bed is where you should be bound.
You don't think I told him the exact same thing?
We get to
Were
fight
Tyre
with
not
him.
such a talented healer, I would surely have been inclined to agree. But thanks to her ministrations, I feel I may safely rejoin my attendant, who was to wait for me in Tabor if we became separated.
All right, we travel together.
Clive.
If he stays close to me, he'll be fine.
Thank you, brother.
I'll look after him.
After I've had to fight so many angels. I mean, I do want to check that game out myself sometime. Ah, more side quests. I thought we were just done with them. What job should you have? I mean, I'm currently playing as a tank in 14. Usually, if you have a slower ping rate or whatnot, a ranged class is usually good. Now's the best time to check it out. I mean, I also got myself that Pokemon Unite last night because I thought, hey, might as well. I'm already ranked 60 in the Battle Pass. That's after 9 matches. Alright. South of Tabor in Dalmacia. I'll just write this down quickly. South of Tabor Dalmekia wolves. Did not go down the rabbit hole. It's too late. I've already started. I mean, I've done 9 matches and I've won all 9. So far, my main is Snorlax. Alright, so there's 4 quests. The reading table. Eye for an eye. Gav? Gav back? Not to be outdone, so it's getting the person a monster and on balance. Charizard user. I've been mainly Snorlax because I combined Heavy Slam and Yawn and it just seemed to do really well.
Did you see the pair that got hauled into time?
Word from the North Reach. Clive, you're the town's thanks for helping rid us of the thralls, who are neither of us so naive to think we have seen the end of their life. Good Philip has taken to seeing that we are prepared should the ghouls come once again calling, but I often worry the rank of captain has begun to weigh heavily upon his shoulders. Just as I imagine, the same way to be said of you and your burdens. But remember, should the weight ever become too much, you needn't stand alone. Our hearts and arms remain ever open, as do the Vale's doors. Guardians are getting along with the axes fine enough, willing to shore up the rest walls, while not clearing out what few threats remain down in the reeds. Though chances are we'd still be neck deep in a catch had you not given that horde. Your firm but gentle nudge. I know you're a realm to save and all, but if you ever need a quick reviver, come see us. We'll tap you a cask. You have an uncanny talent of showing up when you're most needed, my lord. Without your steel, I fear the rest will be in the hands of the Akashic, and us, but more of their nameless numbers. However, with the horde now both thinned and fractured, we Guardians can focus our efforts on putting down the smaller packs without the worry of being overwhelmed, while Martha's blood axes can return to defending the tour. As for young Oscar, you'll forgive my son a request for taking him under your wing. He's a good man, attentive, polite, hard-working, so as you can see, he has already learned everything he can from me. He would do well to continue his squiring under a more worthy shield, and the realm has none more worthy than you. The Guardian League have put aside the differences for the time being, allowing us all leave to sip our snake spit in relative leisure. For that, I would hazard we have your better half to thank. She put on quite a performance. As for yours, well, from one aspiring thespian to another, might I suggest working your delivery, and your projection, and those stiff limbs of yours, and your countenance, and, well, everything else. We wouldn't want you to do the name Underhill a disservice now, would we? Start saying tons of... Well, if you start saying tons of bits, it means you got an Ava. I mean, I hope you get an Ava, because that would be pretty cool to get. It's why I hate gacha games, because I have to unlock everything. Like, I was playing Pokemon Masters, and I got so close to just pouring in so much money just to get the characters. I'm like, no, I've got to be good. Humble request. Master Clive, apologize for the sudden untold gesture. Circumstances have forced me to seek immediate aid. There is none other to whom I may turn. Your most esteemed Lord Uncle has presented me with a task most vexing. I fear I am wholly unable to perform to his vaulted expectations, namely due to a marked lack of martial aptitude on my part. To wit, I am but a manservant, not a mercenary, while I maintain the fitness ample to attend to the needs of a manor. To the attending of bandits in my back alleys, I am sorely ill-equipped. If it pleases you, my lord, freely come and see me at Martha's Rest, where I shall proceed to explain my predicament in full.
Rutherford. Wasn't that the name of my uncle's manservant? Why would he be at Martha's Rest?
Just want an Ava. When the Street Fighter collab comes back, you want a Kuma. I mean, like, I kind of wish there was a way to play these gacha games and not spend money. But I don't want to download hacked APKs just in case it does something bad. It's Goots!
What am I gonna do? Is everything all right, Goots? You seem more discomposed than usual.
Oh, I don't know what that means, but I'm in a bit of a muddle. Oh, I think Nan might be in trouble, and she's...
It's all right. You can tell me.
There was a trader came by. One of our usuals, like. Said he'd heard some rotten rumours about her down Dallimil Way. Folk are saying she's been selling to bandits and cutthroats and that. I mean, she's fond of a chance to make a coin or two, aye, but she'd never do business with baddies. Especially not the kind who go hurting people who haven't done out. I wanted to ask her about it myself, but I'm scared she'll give us a tongue lashing. She'd never give your tongue a lashing, though, would she?
I'm gonna help him because it's Goots.
Oh, thanks, Clive. You'll let me know what she says, won't you?
Of course. I'm sure it's all just a misunderstanding.
I want to prioritize it because I want to help out Goots. Look at him. He's just the best character.
Round and round the city clock, the wyvern chased the eagle. The birdie stopped to catch his breath. Down came the eagle.
Just random eagle there.
Lady Karen. How's business?
Switch Battle Cats game
Not
exists,
nearly as foul as
but
the
it wouldn't
weather.
have the updates like
You're
Neon
doing
Genesis,
good
would
trade
it?
then. Both in and out of the hideaway.
Can't complain. Wait, what exactly are you getting at? Not once in 5 long years do you pay my affairs half a care, but here you are today raking me over the coals like a bloody popoto.
Just
Potato. Lullafels exist.
out of interest.
Lullas exist in
All right.
16.
I'm here because I was told that certain rumors have been circulating about you selling weapons to brigands.
Oh, are you? And who was it who knows me so well as to tell tales of my evil exploits?
I didn't exactly hear firsthand. All I know is that someone in Dallimil has been spreading word to that effect.
And what? You believe it? You think I'm profiting off the blood of innocents, do you? Look, I've done things I'm not proud of. Might be there were a time when I turned a blind eye to the wretchedness of the world so I could line my pocket.
If we find out who is against her, we can stop
Woman
this.
is no more. And you'd know that if you'd ever paid the slightest bit of notice.
You're right, Lady Karen. I apologize. It was wrong of me to doubt you.
No, it was. Now, I reckon you've got better things to do than pointing your do-gooding finger at a poor old woman.
Of course. Good day.
It's just returned to Goots. Like, what if that's just going to be the end of the quest? Talk to Goots. Congratulations, here's your reward.
I spoke with Lady Karen
What did she say?
that the rumors were unfounded, and that I was a fool for thinking they might hold any truth, along with some other things that made her feelings clear. And while it sounds like she may have done things she regretted in her past, she says those days are behind her.
Oh, well, that's good. I knew Nan wasn't caught up in how bad.
ANG_Sasha cheered. X15. Holy S at hash dollar I
people
got
say
unit
she was?
0 I got unit 0
What
and
did she
1
ever
I
do to
super.
them? It's not right.
Good work.
No,
That is amazing.
it's not.
Again,
But
feel
people
free
do
to show
things for all
off
sorts
pictures
of
in the
reasons.
Discord.
Perhaps we'll never know.
I would love to see them.
Well, I'm going to find out. That trader, he said they were all talking about her in Dallimil. So that's where I'm going. I'll find someone who'll tell me, you'll see.
Are you sure that's wise? Whoever's spreading these rumors means Karen ill.
Oh, right. But that's why you'll be coming with me, isn't it, Clive?
I suppose it is.
I mean, I don't know about the game. I'd be going there anyway because it's good. You have to.
Seems the highway's
blasted book. Can you... Here, you put me in this situation, Clive. You can bloody well get me out of it. I need a hand with a recipe.
Are you sure it's me you're looking for? I'm not much of a cook.
I'm all the cook will be needing, thank you very much. What I want from you is a little of your time, right? Oh, and perhaps your sword. You remember Ivan's stew, right? Well, despite the look of the thing, and that awful stench, people wolf it down. So I thought I'd try making one of these supposed masterpieces myself. Had a peek at the book and gave it a go, but, well...
It wasn't as straightforward as you'd hoped. Ivan had the same problem.
Yeah, but this is my blimmin' kitchen, and I will not be outdone. So if you don't want to be seen as playing favourites, I suggest you lend me a hand.
She has a good point. I mean, I do hope they make a recipe book in the future which has various things that could be made in this game.
I've never been one to play favourites, Molly. And I would be only too happy to lend you a hand. So, what's on the menu this time?
A fried mortress of skyworm. That's one heck of a name, innit? Recipe seemed easy enough to an old hand like myself. Thought I'd followed it to a T. Only, turns out skyworm livers and drake's mint are not what I thought they were. At least I hope they're not, given the rancid mess they made.
Ivan said the recipes in the culinary pilgrimage date back centuries. Who's to say the ingredients even exist anymore?
Well, that's a question for a scholar, wouldn't you say? Perhaps you know of one? Kindly old fella who haunts the shelves, maybe?
Why couldn't she have
Fine.
spoken to him?
I'll go and speak to Harpocrates. Perhaps he'll know something. And if he does, I'll see if I can find your ingredients for you.
You do that. Lest we forget, you've got a reputation to uphold.
It's quite literally right behind me where the guy is. And they're going, oh wow, you need to help her out. She can't walk from here to in there. Like, 52, yeah, no matter what, it's 50, she can't walk 52 yards and ask someone, hey, do you know what these could be? My goodness, so lazy.
Is a storm coming, Sid? Will there be...
Sid, perhaps you can help me solve a mystery.
I can certainly try. Who's gone missing this time?
It's not who, but what. Mid's scales, the ones she made for her workshop. I borrowed them to teach the little ones about weight, and shortly after the lesson, well, they vanished. My first thought was that they'd taken them off somewhere to play, but when I asked, they swore they had nothing to do with their having disappeared. Which almost certainly means they had everything to do with it.
Allow me to help.
Perhaps a visit from Sid will jog their memories.
I think it just might. Thank you. I don't like to imagine that my pupils would lie to me. But if they have, I'll have no choice but to discipline them accordingly. They were in the atrium when I last saw them. As always.
Hanatsuka is the strongest battle cat from the collaboration, stronger than Unit 13. Interesting. I'm just looking at the images right now. But yeah, they look interesting. I'm gonna have to get this game. Like, I've seen ads for it for such a long time. I've seen YouTubers like going, oh, it's being brought to you by Battle Cats. Like, you're not gonna get me in that easy. You come like, look at this picture. I was like, okay, I'll play it.
Lawsman Harpocrates, I've come to pick your brain if you don't mind. It's about the book you lent Ivan.
Ah, Valisthea, a culinary pilgrimage, a classic. One of my favorites, in fact. The young man did a wonderful job with the Chance's stew. I do hope we shall be able to sample more such marvels in due course.
That's actually why I'm here. I don't suppose you know where I might find skyworm livers and drake's mint.
Ah, so the fabled Sanbriquois delicacy is next on the menu. Delightful. The descriptions of fried mortress never fail to make my mouth water. Now, skyworm is a somewhat antiquated name for the wyvern, their ground livers being the paste from which the mortress is made.
Dragon livers. How very Sanbriquois.
One would have thought the disciples of Bahamut would have a touch more reverence for their icon's brethren, but apparently not. I believe the specific dragon the recipe demands is the blueback wyvern, said to be the very color of the sea beside which it resides.
So we know where to look for our liver. But what about the drake's mint?
Saint's bonnet in contemporary parlance, a herb which grows along the North Reach coast. I gather that one can locate the cheerful yellow flowers by their heady scent alone, so I'm sure you'll have no trouble finding them. I may add that people once believed game was best served with the flora that sustained it in life, in which regard fried mortress of skyworm is undoubtedly a typical dish of the time.
Meaning that if I find one, I find the other. To Northreach, then.
Best of luck, Clive. And do save me a bite once the dish is complete.
So now I gotta run up here, find out about the missing scales, and I can finally leave. I mean, I'm curious about how gloomy the game is. Like, since everything's gone.
Did you see that? Tell me you saw that.
See what? Pinkish tinge. I'm actually curious if them saying that actually causes something to appear. Let's try it. Just briefly. If I run away.
Mother, save us.
Might be hard now there's only one.
Then we're all doomed.
No, they're not going to say it again. Like, it'd be interesting if there was actually sunk out in the water where you could see something pop out. There was a chest. Goblin coin. We're right, and I didn't see what the other one was. I kept seeing that chest down there. I'm like, oh, I wonder if you can actually get to it.
Is there anything we can do? It doesn't feel right sitting around waiting for the world to right itself.
Sarian versus.
That, or you could join the Curse Breakers.
You look just like a princess.
And you look like the princess's sister.
Oh, the dresses were made. I had to help them out in an earlier quest. And it's cool that we have like a little extra room. I don't think I've ever seen that door open.
What do you reckon we should do?
Sid!
Hard at your studies, I see. And what is that? It's not a set of scales, is it?
No. Of course it isn't.
Well, not anymore, it's not. Oh!
And just how long hasn't it been one?
We're sorry.
But we didn't break them. We dismembered them.
Just like Miss Mididol showed us.
Miss Mididol? And why would she have you dismembering her creations?
Because that's the only way to become a ninja-neer.
Miss Middledore said, the best way to see how something works is to take it apart and put it back together again.
Well then, your work is already half done. Carry on.
About that.
The taking apart was easy enough, but it's the putting back we can't work out.
Speak for yourself. The heavy thing goes at the bottom. Then...
I mean, it looks a bit self-explanatory looking at it.
You three need to learn to take responsibility for your actions.
I mean,
so let's have a look at these parts with fresh eyes, shall we? All right. Everything here was once part of Miss Middledor's scales. Every piece has its own role to play, and each is just as important as the others. If even one of them is missing, the scales won't work. So let's think about what those roles might be. You already know one of the pieces. The body. Its role is to support everything else. But what
this is an odd lesson this late in the game.
This is called the arm. Why do you suppose that is? It doesn't look much like an arm.
You're right. It looks more like a wing. Like a chocobo wing!
You've ridden a chocobo before, haven't you, Sid? Will you teach me to ride one day?
I'll think about it. Now, what do arms do?
Hold things. So wait, maybe this arm holds things too?
Good thinking. You're on the right track. These round parts are called the pans. You all know what a pan is, don't you?
I do. Molly uses them in the kitchens to fry bangers.
But these aren't for frying bangers, you idiot. They're for weighing stuff.
But what if I wanted to weigh goods? I don't think you'd fit on that little thing.
Probably not.
What are the chains for? Holding the pans up?
Well spotted. Which means something must hold the chains up in turn.
This is, again, very odd lesson.
This tiny piece is what's called a cogwheel, or gear. Have you ever seen one before?
I mean, I guess they do like to do
Miss Middledor's dungeon
world-building side quests.
Floor.
She puts them in all her inventions. They spin round and round and round and round and...
That's right. They're very useful when you want to make things move. Do you remember if there was anything on the scales that moved?
I remember the arm moved when I tried weighing an apple. And then somebody ate it.
It's not my fault. You shouldn't have tried weighing it before lunch.
You know what part's supposed to move and how it's supposed to move. So, let's put the pieces together first, see what doesn't move, and then stick the cogwheel to that.
Not a bad idea. You see? It's not so difficult. So, now that we've taken stock of the parts and learned what they do, what do you think?
I think we've got it.
Then here's what we'll do. You tell me what goes where, and I'll put the scales together.
Well, obviously,
At least I don't have to
All the
put
other
this
pieces
input
fit onto
in.
it, don't they?
And the arms go on the body, just like real arms. Or wings, if you're a chocobo.
And then the arms hold the pans by the chains.
Very good. Let's see if that works. There. All finished.
Yes! We did it!
Well, with Sid's help.
Oh, I just put the pieces together. It was you three engineers who showed me how.
That's right. We're Miss Middledor's hares.
Her hairs?
Yeah, hares for the future. She's showing us her secrets now, so we can help out the hideaway when we're older.
What do you think, Sid? Are we almost ready?
With a little more help from Miss Middledore and Miss Shirley, I'd say it won't be long at all.
This is just a very long,
You hear that?
very long cutscene, isn't it?
Until then, though, do try to be honest with Miss Shirley.
cogwheel.
You don't think Sid forgot about it, do you?
This looks like he's not as smart as we thought. Alright, well, that seems like it would be the end of the quest. So if we leave the area... I'm not allowed to explore elsewhere? Well, let's just continue then. Side quest can wait. I need to kill an enemy. Or it's gonna be just like with Jill. I just gotta see this one cutscene. Cloak and dagger. Stream froze.
It's like a dream. The four of us out walking like we used to.
It might just be on your end. You may have to refresh. I know that if you're on mobile, every so often, it just freezes. To be honest, I don't feel safe at home at the moment because my sister is on Omegle. I do not like that website myself. I've just seen way too much negatives from it.
Danger as we speak.
You're right. I'm sorry. Yote is a fine scout. If Candle was attacked, she will already have begun gathering information.
Tabor isn't far.
What? It just froze midair. Don't feel safe about her being on there. I mean, as long as she's not giving out an address or anything like that, should be fine. Alright. First off, south of Tabor. It is completely possible that it is part of this area. Ah, there's even a shop with a new item. I've got Sickle, the Jaw, Cattery, the Terraces, Dalamil, I guess is that place, Valkyrie Desert, Bandit's Bed, Alonso, Drake's Deep, Bandit Fishing Village, Vaults, Surge's Thread, Trader's Gate, The Wheels, Anelect. That's all Boklad. Yeah, it'd be in this unknown area. We'll go here and we'll help out Goots first. Locked in your room till Mum comes home from her work. Or work done. Hopefully she isn't too long, and fingers crossed your sister is smart enough not to give real information over the internet.
Too hard to find, Goots.
The gentleman of the town guard.
I mean, I don't think...
How the hell did they find it?
I don't think many people would be basically dumb enough to ask for information over the internet anymore, because it can easily be traced back to them, and like, so I'm sure you are safe, but
Could be I know something.
I understand your fears and worries.
Clive, listen! I found someone who says he's heard the rumours about Nan.
Have you?
Go on. Tell him what you told me.
All right. It's like I said. A wizened old crone by the name of Karen's been selling steel to whoever will pay her price, be they knight or knave. Says the more swords and spears she puts in people's hands, the more war they'll wage. And the more war being waged, the more call for swords and spears. And who will they all turn to keep them in steel? Why, the good Reaper herself.
And you've seen this Reaper at work?
Aye, it just so happens I have. You'll find her right here plying her trade most days.
Here in Dalimil? Where exactly?
She has a stall here in the market, but if you're not the patient type, you can probably find her at her storehouse on the edge of town. But it'd be a bolder man than me that braved that particular nest of vipers. Feeling bold, traveler? I hope so, for your sake. Now, if that's all, I have places to be.
Sorry to have kept you.
You don't think Nan's the Reaper, do you?
Not
Of course
unless she's
not.
discovered the secret of how to be in two places at once.
Eh? What do you mean?
Lady Karen hasn't left the hideaway in weeks. So who has been running this stall he spoke of?
Good question. I'll go and have a look.
And I'll visit this storehouse on the edge of town.
All right, but be careful, Clive.
You too, Goots.
Oh, it's just out there. Alright, that makes it simple enough. We'll run around. Find out who's the impersonator.
The gentleman of the town guard is about. What a mess.
You fought very bravely.
The safety of the town is in our hands.
Alright. Where's my chocobo?
Come on. Run like the wind. Time to brave the Viper's Nest.
That was a very short run, but... Alright, who's the impersonator?
Just you, is it? Thought I might have laid it on a bit thick.
It was a fairly unconvincing tale. So, what now?
That's up to you. Die a slow death, or a quick one. Boys, he's all yours. But that sword is mine.
Okay, this is gonna be fun.
Leave now and we can pretend this didn't happen.
I wonder how long they're gonna be in there for. How long is it gonna last? Go on, gotta hit me. I wasn't talking to you. I'm just gonna kill him. There we go. What is Neo The World Ends With You? So, if you're familiar with The World Ends With You, the Neo one is a brand new game in the story. I think it came out either late last year or early this year. I think I bought it, but I never actually got around to playing it. But it is an interesting series, to say the least. I think they tried to make the series work so often because it was a DS game, then it became a mobile game, then later got ported to the Switch. So it's like they kept trying to get it to work, throw it into Kingdom Hearts. I think it has an anime series. 2021. Oh my goodness, it's old. Huh. Feels like not so long ago it got released.
Oh, you've done it now.
Go on. Tell me what I've done.
When the Borgwyn finds out you've killed his men, he'll have your head. He only wanted that bull of a manservant, the dim one always clinging to Karen's skirts. You weren't even supposed to be here. Who the hell are you, anyway?
What were you going to do to him?
The Borgwyn wanted him to get to Karen. I was only supposed to point the lamp in the right direction once he arrived in Dalamil. But then you turned up. Well, go on then. If you're going to end me, end me.
You're not worth the effort. Now be gone, before I change my mind.
Fucking coward!
I need to find Goots. Right now.
I sure hope Goots is alright.
Get your filthy paws off me, you naughty-pated lout!
Stop calling me names! And stop spreading them horrible lies about Nan!
Well, that will be easy enough. For they are not lies. Every last word is true. And she must pay for her crimes in blood.
Blood?
Goot, are you all right?
He's gonna kill Nan! He said she had to pay in blood!
After what she did, it is only right. She ruined my life and the lives of countless others. That loathsome harpy's very existence is a crime, and I will not allow it to continue. Goots, was it? I have no quarrel with you.
Does this guy have a mullet?
Only with your employer. Run along now. You need not pay for her sins.
No.
No?
I don't care what she did. I won't let you hurt Nan. Promise me you won't hurt her, or I'll kill you myself.
Do it, Goots.
Goots, no.
Do it.
Enough, all of you!
Karen. But how did you?
You're a sight less clever than you think you are, the pair of you. Did you think I wouldn't notice the two of you slinking off together? Well, the whole thing got me thinking, who in Dalamil might bear me a grudge? And a certain snivelling shit I ran afoul of in my fairy years came to mind. Though it was just Bogan back then, wasn't it? I thought the years might have taught you some sense, but I see you're the same pants-pissing craven you've always been. What was it we called you? Wet legs?
You bitch! Everything that happened, it was all your fault! And now you'll finally pay for what you did to me!
Goots, you...
If you want a piece of Nan, you'll have to go through me.
He has a little axe.
Fuck!
Do it, Goots.
You great galoot. Out of the way, I can handle this myself. So, wet legs. You remember what you told me when we last met? An eye for an eye. Wise words, Sam. Wise words. And now, it's time to collect.
I also only just realized... That was not a very blood-curdling scream. But I also only just realized that it's a fake eye she has for her blue one. I thought she just had two different colored ones.
Is he...
Dead? No. But I reckon he wishes he was. It's an easy going through life, one eye short of a pair. After all, I should know.
You don't mean...
Oh, don't tell me you didn't notice. Lost it to old Wet Legs back when we were working the same routes. Said I'd stolen from his strongbox. I'd done nothing of the sort, mind. But that didn't stop him taking his little revenge. So I took some of my own. Sorry, lost everything. His coin, his clients. Always knew he'd be back one day to claim his due. But he crossed a line dragging poor Goots into this. He didn't hurt you, did he?
No, Nan. Still got all my arms, see? Legs too. But what if he comes back again?
What if he does? First we take the other eye, then we work our way down. He'll learn his lesson soon enough. But something tells me the Wet Legs has learned it already. Right. Let's get you back to the hideaway. You've attracted quite enough attention already. Ta-ra, Clive.
Remind me never to cross you, Karen.
Yeah, she's actually quite terrifying. Oh, hey, brother. Hey, Jill. Doggo! You didn't see that, did you, boy? So I meant to play the DS game first.
If you ever do that again, I'll rip you to within an inch of your life.
Like, I'm not too sure if this is where the guy lost his eye. I'm gonna say yes, you are meant to play it, because I think the protagonist from the first game appears. But I don't think the story is interconnected between the two games, like where it's like, you need to play one to understand two. Because it's a different set of characters. So it's like, if you played one, you'll understand a few things more, or there'll be certain points where you're like, oh, they're calling attention to this thing. But it isn't 100% needed. I was like, I think even the way the battle mechanics work has changed. Because I know that initially with The World Ends With You, you had to equip buttons for your skills. So it's like, oh, you got a fire button. But it would then say, oh, this pattern is like a Z. So you had to get your DS styles and draw a Z over the touchscreen to use the spell. I think when it got ported to the Switch, it was just, alright, just map it to a key and just press the button. And yeah, you'll use the skill. Congratulations. You won the battle. I'm not sure if the phone kept the touchscreen mechanic or not, but I think that method has been removed from the sequel game. Where is the guy? Thought I saw a thing pop up to the right. Is he upstairs? Yes, he is.
My lord Marquis, it is you. Then you received my letter. I am Sebastian Rutherford, chief steward of your lord uncle's estate.
Of course. We met once before.
Yes, my lord. Thank you for coming.
And what was so sensitive that you couldn't put it in writing?
1,000 apologies, my lord. I did not mean to offend. I merely...
It's all right. Continue.
I am here at Martha's Rest, at the behest of your lord uncle, tasked with learning what I am able of the realm's current state of affairs. And what I have learned is grim. The fall of the Mother Crystals has left Storm in a state of utter disarray. The subsequent darkening of the heavens has only made things worse. Akashic attacks, once unthinkable, are now commonplace. The gears of governance have ground to a halt, and without a steady hand on the tiller, the realm threatens to drift into utter chaos. Your lord uncle, however, believes there is a way to avoid this fate, and is determined to see it set in motion.
That sounds like quite the undertaking.
It is. Hence my having enlisted the aid of several colleagues serving the 7 high houses. Alas...
Alas?
I have lost contact with 2 of those colleagues already. They are both able-bodied and trained in the sword, yet in these dark times, even that may not prove sufficient to keep a man safe on the road.
So you want me to find them? I'll need to know where they went.
One I sent to investigate the Republic, the other the old Imperial capital of Oriflamme.
That doesn't exactly narrow it down. I suppose I'll start in Dalimil and work my way east.
Thank you, my lord. I shall pray for your success and safety.
Alright, saving the realm. Completely different way. I've got to go back in. Oh. Right, Northreach. So it's just on the outside of town is where we can find the dragon and the herbs. Right. I just kind of want to explore a little bit more. Like, I know there's the Veil. Aha! Treasure. Some black blood. Can get a little bit of money for it. It's always worth exploring.
To the meadows, then. That's what the captain's. Faster!
Quiet. Don't get surrounded.
Hippocrates said I should be able to find what I'm looking for somewhere nearby. Bright blue dragons and bright yellow flowers. Should be easy enough to spot.
I know the dragon's right there, but... Item!
This must be our wyvern.
Cousin just tried to buy a Pokemon Go account off of you. Why, when they can start their own?
Let's get this over with.
Like... Oh my goodness. You have a ton of legendary Pokemon. And his biggest artist, if I sold it to him, he wouldn't even pay me. Like, I wouldn't sell it because, A, you got all the legendary Pokemon, you got your shinies. It's way too important. And B, I don't know, to me, it's more fun if you start your own. I mean, yes, with your legendaries, your Pokedex is more complete. That is always fun to just go, hey, look, it's better completion. But, I don't know, it's just something more entertaining about catching a Pokemon and seeing the, wow, this is brand new. And even the new, wow, you got the largest one you've found so far, or the smallest. That just adds to the excitement. And it isn't even hard to get to a strong point. Like, getting to level 30 in Pokemon Go is so easy. And at that point, well, technically level 31 onwards, is when you can start using the XL candy. But they made it that once you hit level 30, your Pokemon can now get a 10 level boost. So, a level 30 player can have something really powerful now. You don't need to be a level 40 account to have something really strong for raids. They should really just play themselves. Like, I got my account. Like, the character name is obviously Temporonix. In fact, I might actually share my trainer ID so that way I can start, sending gifts and whatnot. Like, I have a bunch of random friends from around the world, but I might actually start going, hey, look, if anyone on stream wants to add me, I'll add the nickname, like, __ first. That way you're always at the top of the list. I can start giving gifts and, support community. The reason he wanted to buy it was because he got banned. Sucks to be him. I was like, if he got banned, that's on you. Just...
That's the wyvern's liver. Now I just need to find the herbs.
And I'm guessing...
with a heady scent.
Guessing he got banned because of GPS spoofing?
I think that's everything Molly needs to resurrect her recipe. Better head back.
I just want to go up here because I want to check one thing.
Holding back. This one.
Down the wrong spot for this.
This one. Get him. This one. All yours, Torgal.
Okay, they're dead. The thing I want to check. Okay, it is still open. I'm curious if it's the wooden ones you can reopen or if none you can reopen. I was just curious about it. Yeah, his friend was, and he got banned too. Guess who's in your server? Is it you? Are you in my server now? I hope it's you in the server. Alright, back to the hideaway, handing these couple of quests. I can start doing the other quests. Do send pics of your character in the Discord server as well, because I like to see them. Karen! The fake eye.
Nothing like a dish of cold vengeance to foul the gut.
Why not?
I'm sorry, Nan.
I will after the
I didn't
stream.
mean to make things worse. I just thought I had to protect you. Like you've protected me.
Aye, well, someone had to. Your parents certainly didn't give a whit for your well-being. Reckon the both of us would be worse off if I'd not taken you on. You've always been me right eye, Goots. And I'd have you stay that way. So don't you dare go looking for trouble again.
Well, I will. If you ever need help, I'll do it again and again, and you can't stop me.
Why, you big lump. Fine. Play the hero if it makes you happy.
Thanks, Nan. I won't let you down.
Just love
There's
Goots.
nothing he wouldn't do for you.
It's just so nice.
Maybe. But if he's ever to make his own way in life, he'll need to start looking out for himself as well. Till then, he'll need people to watch his back, just like you did in Dalamil. Don't think I didn't appreciate that.
Of course. His family.
Stop it. You make me one good eye, mister. I don't go thinking that'll do you any favours. A potion today'll cost you the same as it did yesterday.
I mean, I did enjoy hearing or learning about a past. Continental Sensor. Ah, I can read about it in the room.
It seems the hideaway's lost its...
So, did you have that word with Tomes then?
I did, and he was as helpful as ever. He told me exactly where to look, in fact.
And what precisely will I be cooking up? Or is it better not to know?
Blueback wyvern liver. And, a herb known as Saint's Bonnet.
Ah, wyvern livers, was it? Well, at least it weren't actual worms, I suppose. Now then, you stay right where you are. I've got some cooking to do. Let's hope these grand old chefs of yore knew what they were on about.
I'm curious to see how this turns out. The other one looked gross, but at the same time, intriguing enough. They look like little chicken nuggets.
And here we have it. Fried mortress of skyworm. Ivan's offered to make sure it's fit for consumption. Well, I say offered. He as good as begged.
And rightly so. Is there any higher honor than partaking in a slice of culinary history?
So, not fit for consumption then?
witchery is this? The crackle of the crust gives way to an almost violent richness. Yet, it is the piquant kiss of the saint's bonnet that tames this savage dish. It is a tour de force, a force of nature even, a maelstrom of flavour and sensation, a graceful beast emerging from centuries of slumber.
So it is 100% chicken nuggets.
Well, I can't quite tell with all that nonsense he's talking, but I reckon you might be right. It was decent then, I take it.
Decent? It's remarkable, and I defy any man to say a word to the contrary. Sid, might I suggest that you command a party of your finest men and women to procure a dozen blueback wyverns forthwith?
I'll give it some thought.
Quest complete! Bunch of materials that I don't need. Like... First of all, I'm curious about the ember. That's just tradable. Like Desert Rose, used in crafting. Where do I use it? And you go down here and it's like the bloody hides. I got 1,000 of them. I got 1,500 sharp fangs. I don't need that many. Do I just sell them? Is there a quest later on where it's like, oh, I need this many of them? The post game?
Is a storm coming, Sid? Will there be...
Well, did you solve the mystery?
It was as you thought. The children had the scales, or the parts of them at least. They dismantled them to see how they worked.
Oh, no, Mid will have my head.
Thankfully she won't. This might even have been her idea. Although I was the one who ended up teaching the lesson.
I'm so sorry, Sid. I know how busy you are. I shall see that the children are properly punished.
Please, there's no need. Mid seems to have taken the 3 of them under her wing. She's even calling them her heirs. She'd have them follow in her footsteps. And her father's.
I see. Sid, do you know why Mid has been spending so much time at the hideaway of late?
She told me it was because her studies have been interrupted by events in Canva. Is that not true?
No, it isn't. The university offered her a commission. In exchange for full tuition, room and board, they asked her to oversee the design of several new war engines. To anyone else it would be an opportunity, but to Mid, who lost both her parents to war, it was a bitter pill. One she was none too keen to swallow. But that should come as no surprise. She's only ever cared about bringing people hope. The very last thing war can be said to do.
Which explains her heirs. She's working to give them a better life. And so should I.
Ah, sorry, I didn't mute myself. I had a sneezing fit.
Engineering lesson.
Oh, you've given them far more than that. And I'm sure they're very grateful.
Just saw the funniest cosplay ever. It's just some chat guy with a Diglett mask on. I mean, you can't tell me that's not a Diglett. You don't know what the bodies look like. Alright, there's no more rewards yet. Unfortunately. Go to the inn, will slowly travel east, trying to find this guy who's apparently vanished.
It's not going to be easy finding one man in an entire republic. Let's hope someone here's seen some.
Ah, so it's...
Mummy.
Like I said that this place has been destroyed by bandits. It's like, I wonder if it'll ever be repaired.
Anything I can interest you in?
I already have the orchestrion right here.
Ready, go?
Fly, Ambrosia.
Someone's got himself in trouble.
And if this is the end of the quest, is just save him.
Master here, so you can start by giving us all the coppers in your purse.
I already told you, I have nothing.
Then maybe we'll take that pretty outfit and the steel you're wearing.
Please! These men are trying to rob me!
I'll deal with this.
Thank you.
You that one's master, then? If you'd kindly pay the coin he owes us, we can pretend you didn't draw your blade on Republican soldiers.
Or you can go back to your garrison and I won't report you to your captain.
Oh, you're more than welcome to. He hasn't had many visitors since we slit his throat.
Waken, witch! Let there be light!
And then draw. It was just too easy of a battle. It's Tornado and Raw.
I'd expect as much from Hugo's faithful, but these were men of the fist.
Much has changed in the Republican army since they lost their rock.
You've seen this kind of thing before, then?
More exposition?
Times. I was sent here to observe the situation.
You're one of Rutherford's men. He sent me to look for you.
Well, then you have my thanks. I fancy I could defend myself against one, perhaps two, but a whole regiment. I arrived in Dalimil several days ago, but when I called upon the captain of the local garrison to make inquiries, his men confiscated my effects and locked me in a cell.
The captain is no more, and his men make the rules now.
Fortunately, I was able to bribe my way free, only to be stopped again by those soldiers you so kindly dispatched.
What of the Fist Central Command? Surely they wouldn't allow such lawlessness among their ranks.
I would imagine they are unaware of it. Most of the army has fallen back to the capital and hunkered down behind her walls. Those who weren't recalled now rule the fringes unchecked, answering to no one but themselves.
Then it's worse than we imagined. You should return to Rosaria. It's not safe here.
I'll find a caravan heading north. You won't mind if I borrow one of these soldiers' coin purses?
The thieves become the thefted?
No. To find this second associate of Rutherford's. If he was bound for Oriflamme, I'll start at Northreach and see if I can pick up his trail.
Like, there's a Final Fantasy XVI collab coming to 14. There are apparently some leaks from data miners, but one thing I'm curious about... Well, this guy's not really a good example. But I'm curious if one of the things is going to be the face paint, or like to be a bearer. Because that would be an interesting item to give players. It's back up here. Ah! All this traveling around.
There's a lot of road between here and the capital. Rutherford's man could be anywhere. What happened here?
If you're with the others, they've already relieved me of my belongings.
I'm not. I'm looking for someone who was sent here by a man named Rutherford.
And then you found him. I am Alistair Rockford, attendant to the Lady Ariane of House Wellesley.
Of the 7 high houses of Rosaria. It's been a long time since last I saw my great-aunt. Is she well?
My Lord Marquis? Yes. Yes, she is. The Lady Dowager has granted me leave to assist your Uncle Stuart. I was on my way back from the old capital when I saw some villagers being robbed on the road here.
Bandits?
They looked more like field hands, but it didn't matter in the end. I did what I could to help the victims, but all it earned me was a pommel to the temple.
Which way did they go?
South, toward the gate.
All right. I'll take care of them. Founder knows I've met enough of their kind. You head back to Northreach, visit the Vale, tell them I sent you.
Thank you. I shall. Founder be your shield.
Knowing your competitive instincts is a very odd fortune. How to play an FPS. I mean,
just couldn't resist, could they?
You could play Pokemon. That's competitive.
This one's ours, pretty boy.
Just death by a big beam. Ah, I was on the right one. There we go. That also reminds me, I've got to make a post on Twitter or X or whatever they want to call it now. So, yesterday, like, there was a lottery in Australia where the jackpot was 100 million. Whenever it reaches that high, my family just kind of do a, you know what, you got to be in to win it. It's a lot, might as well just enter. But I was saying, because I was watching my nephew at the time, I'm like, alright, well, he's going to be my good luck charm. And when I was telling my brother about it, I said to him, well, truthfully, he is my good luck charm. And to do so, I will play Pokemon tonight. And I will catch a shiny thanks to his luck. Within 5 minutes of turning on Legends Arceus, a shiny Barboach appeared. And then I was saying to my brother later on, I'm like, oh, I want to turn off the game, but I want to find a second shiny for the night. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to plead to Nintendo. Nintendo, if you let a shiny appear and let me catch it, I will make a post about shiny catching in Legends Arceus, post it on Twitter. Hopefully people will be like, oh, this game actually is good. We're going to boost the sales. And it will allow a new Legends game to be made or developed. I'm like, surely, if I do this for Nintendo, a shiny will appear. And then, like a minute after me saying this, a shiny Drifloon appeared. I'm like, alright, I gotta make this post now. I gotta share the shinies. So, I gotta do that. Didn't win the lottery, by the way. Just to throw that in.
Bandits nearby.
You don't need to tell me twice. Many thanks, traveler.
This looks to be all of them.
I thought I told you to make for the Vale.
And stand by as ill might befall the heir to the ducal throne.
It's just Clive, and I'm fine. Which is more than can be said for you.
I will survive.
Strange that the garrison wouldn't intervene in such a brazen attack so close to their gates.
The garrison have their hands full inside the city. Some days they don't even send out patrols. There are few hands left to work the fields, and even fewer to transport the grain. The market stalls are nearly bare, and the price for what remains is exorbitant. It's not uncommon to see a fight break out over a crust of bread. When I said the ones who attacked me didn't have the look of bandits, I meant it. They were probably just desperate.
Rockford, listen to me. If you are to continue your investigation, you first need to seek the attention of a healer.
Of course. I shall return to Northreach right away. But allow me to thank you first. Had you not happened along,
Don't thank me. Thank Rutherford. It was he who sent me.
I suppose he'll be wondering where I've got to. I shall send a Bistolus as soon as I'm able. Good day.
My uncle certainly has his work cut out for him. If it isn't already too late. I should go and tell Rutherford that his colleagues are still in one piece.
Travel on back.
I see you're still here.
The Rest's location affords a constant flow of traders, and with it, a constant flow of information. Speaking of which, I received word from both my associates. They have resumed their investigations, thanks to you.
I only happened to be in the right place at the right time. They both seem to think the realm's prospects rather grim.
I am afraid that grim would be putting it lightly. Storm is in crisis, and if we are to free her, we must work quickly. And we must work together. Such is your Lord Uncle's wish.
As it is mine.
Oh, thank goodness. Reduce flare breath cooldown by 2.7 seconds. I'm actually starting to think, with the amount of guild that I've got, I can probably get rid of the Golden Testament. I'll earn less gil, but I don't think I'm ever going to need all the guild I've currently got. I've got a lot of things I can consider. I got a Badger Might, which just gives me 12 extra strength. Punch damage increase. Increase attack proficiency with each precision dodge. More defense. Killing potency of potions, that would be quite good. Just means that combat damage increases by 5%. That's also quite strong. That's when I stagger the big enemies. Increase strength tank duration, don't really need that. It's like, while these ones here are kind of cool because you get to make some of your skills stronger, I don't think that's a good thing for the long term, you know? So I think increased combo damage. Big enemies would just be a little bit easier to kill. Right, we can finally continue the story. At least until we reach this side quest.
We can use the ruins to cross the ravine.
Assuming they would allow it. The Echoes have a will of their own.
Alright, so this takes me to the ledge that was above area. I'm just curious if there was something. There is a chest. I have to kill it. Punch, 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 punch. Get the tornado in, and then we scream at it. Over 50,000 damage. Nearly killed it. And we killed it. Oh my goodness. Whoop. And the treasure has a regal sash. Yeah, that's a lot better. So like I'm starting to... Oh, I just realized like I'm so low on potions. I'm starting to consider what I can do for my stream anniversary, and it's going to likely be 24-hour stream, but I gotta figure out what I want to play. And I have no clue what to do whatsoever. But I think I might talk to other streamers that I've met and be like, all right, what game do you play that you would recommend? Because yeah, I don't know how loud that is for everyone. I hope it isn't too loud. I keep adjusting the volume because I know the battles come out very loud, but then the talking moments are very quiet in this. Yeah, as I was saying, because I've met quite a few people through streaming, and it's usually everyone plays their own style games. So I'd like to see a little bit of what other people are into. Down here should hopefully be more treasure. At the same time, I'm hoping that my helmet change thing is going to be working by then.
This won't be easy.
Get it with the roar, the tornado mixed in with the electric attacks. Wasn't even treasure up here. It's just nothing that... Wait. Like, I'm looking at this bit of pathway and it's, well, rock, and it's like, can I jump onto that? Does that have something? There's an invisible wall right there. This is just, hey, here's an optional enemy you can kill. But I think I found a way that I may be able to get my helmet swap to work a bit easier. I've been looking, and I'll just explain this now as well. I've been looking into ways where, for example, the blend shape will hide this helmet and make another one visible. Which isn't, like, it is the entirely possible way, and there's been tutorials on how to make different textures load based on, you know, blend shapes and whatnot, but those videos or tutorials are far and few between. But I kind of realized that this one, like this avatar thing, supported, you know, a unique material or shaders, which requires a unique script. Which means I may be able to attach a script to my VTuber and be like, hey, if this blend shape turns on, do this. And I'm going to do a little test thing tomorrow where it's just going to be, hey, if my character's mouth opens at all, like just a little bit of the O shape, like a oh, that has to be just above a 0. So 1 or higher, turn on a cube that'll just appear in front of me. And if that works in VC Face, that means I can make my own custom script so that if a blend shape, which technically doesn't have anything tied to it, if that turns on and goes to, say, 100 or anything above 50, then swap out the helmet. If another one happens, change the texture. This sort of stuff I can do. And it will speed up this process a lot.
Tell us about Yote, Joshua.
She's strong-willed, loyal, and deadly with a blade. Much like Clive, but with better manners.
Oh, poor Chocobo. Poor little thing. So I think these people up here is the quest? It wasn't that guy.
You're injured.
Really? I didn't notice that.
Where are your comrades?
Thank you so much, Clive, for your
The flood. Up ahead.
genuine eye there.
It swallowed our camp while we slept. My own men did this. Turned every last one of them. There's a village not far from here. Tabor. The people were kind to us. It's only a matter of time before they won't stand a chance. We can't let those monsters reach the...
People need my help.
I'll go. You catch your breath.
Thank you. Our encampment is up ahead. Just off the track. They must not reach Tabor. Forgive me, Lord Kuka.
Rest well, soldier.
Now this is just gonna be clear out the camp and hopefully that's it.
You said the encampment was close. Let's hope the Akashic are still there.
Another ether flood. They're everywhere now.
We can't go round it.
Then we'll just have to be careful.
Good. We got here in time. This one.
It wasn't the one I was aiming for, but
Stay down.
just any attack to keep them at bay. I mean, this is gonna be overkill, but just Giga Flare him.
Is someone there? Please, I can't move my leg.
That doesn't sound like an Akashic.
Well, it could be. They may have learned how to talk. Oh, it's down here.
You're with the battalion?
I am. I heard the fighting. Are the others
Taken
dead?
care of. One of your brothers in arms told me what happened and asked for help.
Another survivor? Where is he? Tell me.
His wounds were too deep.
He was right to send you. Those things you slew are no longer my brothers. Tabor is safe thanks to you. Here, you've earned it.
Alright, quest complete at least.
You seem familiar. Have we met?
You must have me confused with someone else.
Wait. That scar.
Son of a whore. You're Sid. I was there, in Costness, when you killed my brothers. I was there in Rosalith, when you killed my commander.
My war with Hugo Kupka is over. I bear no ill will toward those who followed him.
What of my ill will? Coward! Draw your steel. Lord Kupka shall be avenged!
This is like the first time I've gotten a choice. I mean, he can barely stand. If he wants to fight me, he should get better first.
When your wounds have healed and your head has cooled, come and find me if you must. Though I hazard your life would be better spent in service of those who need it. Or have you forgotten your oath to the Republic?
My oath? What would you know of oaths?
I know how hard they are to keep. Which is why I'm giving you the chance to keep yours.
No. I won't be deceived. Lord Kupka told us of your crimes. You are an outlaw. A murderer, not some
man. Like you or anyone else.
I am nothing like you. But if you're not gonna kill me, then go. Leave! Just know that I will find you, Sid. Someday.
Look forward to that day. I mean, still just standing there. Hey.
You will regret not killing me when you had a chance, Sid.
Oh, I am pretty sure I won't regret. Alright, so up here is just nothing. Oh, but there is a chest on the broken bridge. I will claim this. Doesn't look like there's any more hidden coffers around. I really need to buy some potions. It's bad that I'm all out. Ooh, item. Wow, Nax. These weird antelope things.
We're nearly there.
Have you been to Tabor before?
There are a few places I haven't.
Welcome, travelers. We don't get many visitors here in Tabor.
It's like a little chocobo food stand. There's even a chocobo right there. When did you spawn in, bud?
Where now, Joshua?
There is a residence just inside the city gates. She awaits us within.
But first, I gotta do some shopping.
Welcome, welcome. Anything else? A fine choice. Of course.
Yes, the finish is exquisite. These will make us rich. Rich, I tell you.
Alright, let's go meet her. Oh, they even got a little Stolas here. That little bird. Such a cool little bird. Love him. Just standing there. Like, come on. Haven't you met her before?
My Lord Marquis, it is an honor.
No, I guess not.
I am Yote, Knight of the Undying, charged with the protection of His Grace Joshua Rosfield, Keeper of the Flame of the Phoenix.
Of course. It all makes sense now.
Would you care to elaborate?
The Undying are loyal servants to the ducal throne. Or more specifically, to its heir. They have served our family for generations, albeit from the shadows.
Since their inception, they have been tasked with the preservation and enactment of the rites of ancestral communion. After the events at Phoenix Gate, it was the Undying who delivered me to safety. And since the day I left Rosaria, Yote has been my constant companion and protector. Without her sword, I would not have survived my journey across the realm.
Rise, Lady Yote. You saved my brother. I owe you a debt I can never repay.
I but did my duty.
Come now. Tell us what you've discovered.
Your Grace. 'Tis as you feared. The vessel we spied off the coast of the Crystalline Dominion on the night of her fall. It was the Einherjar. Beyond any doubt.
The Black Galleon.
Joshua, the Einherjar is the Royalists' flagship. What business would they have in the Dominion?
Upon learning of Waloed's involvement in recent events at Drake's Fang, I sensed the malign influence of Ultima, and bid Yote and the Undying look into the matter.
We have reason to believe that the Black Galleon weighed anchor shortly after the fighting began, and set a course due south.
For Canva. Then it is Waloeda knights who besiege the cities.
What is left of them? Yes. And the Black Galleon sails at but one man's behest. Barnabas Tharm.
I feel like if I get Odin's powers very soon, I'm going to just... I have to say goodbye to someone else's power. Maybe I'll actually get rid of Titan, so I'm not using his circle very often.
The city guard have been paid, if that's what you're implying.
All the more reason for them to run.
Well, you are free to leave, Lord Minister.
Markets abandoned, warehouses aflame, blackened hulls choking every port in the capital. Canva is ruined.
The realm teeters on the brink of chaos, and all you can think about is commerce.
Forgive us. We were not aware Dhalmekia now subsisted on charity.
Quite.
How dare you?
Distinguished members of the Council, you must forgive His Majesty this intrusion.
What is the meaning of this?
A trifle crowded.
How was his back to
I
him?
fear it will have to
Must be quite scared. I mean, he'd be first to die if he attacks.
Very well. My colleagues, do you not see? The king! He has come to save us from the Akashic! He is a gift from the heavens, divine intervention, our very salvation.
And of course, if it is compensation he requires, we would be most willing to negotiate a fair price for services rendered.
Fools. Your ignorance unbecomes you.
Your Majesty, correct me if I'm wrong, but I would swear that the fiends washing the cobbles of Canva with the blood of her citizens wear the colors of Waloed. Ha! So you do not deny it. Guards, fetch them, and see our guests to the dungeons!
Enough.
It's a dominant. What do you expect to happen?
Pathetic creatures. That you should imagine yourselves worthy of salvation. The girl is still here, somewhere in the city. Her consciousness fair dripping with her late father's hubris. A consciousness to which Mythos is inextricably bound and inexorably drawn. See that he is made welcome.
Yes, Your Majesty.
Come, Mythos. Surely the prince's light cannot have sated you.
I kind of blacked out during that exchange. So he's waiting for Clive to come there.
How long has Waloed been under Ultima's control?
How long indeed? Based on what we know of Barnabas's actions, I would guess some few years, mayhap more.
But to what end? What does Ultima want?
The tapestry. Show them.
By the flames.
Phoenix Gate, Drake's Breath, and now here. But what is it?
It is old, ancient, even. Naught remains of the faith it represents, save what can be gleaned from the image itself. None could tell me what the one in the apothecary meant, even the Undying. But I believe it may be the key to discerning Ultima's purpose. That figure in the center, the one beneath whom the icons congregate, that I believe to be Ultima. He is a god, or at least godlike, his very existence beyond our ken. The icons, and by extension their dominance, are meant to be his subjects, and while some, like Barnabas, have accepted this role, others have rejected it, like you, Clive, which is rather inconvenient, as it appears he needs you most of all. And gods don't like to be disobeyed.
No, I don't suppose they do.
Clive, may I tell Yote of the lake?
By all means.
Yote, I will be accompanying my brother to the Free Cities. Whilst we are afield, I would have you watch over those Clive has made his wards. Omielos delan tuisag ilith. Though well concealed, the hideaway lacks trained fighters to defend its occupants should they be discovered.
But it is my duty to...
As it has ever been my brother's duty, remember.
If that is your wish, Your Grace. But please be safe. If aught were to befall you,
You have my word.
Aw, they love each other. How cute.
Farewell, my lord, my lady.
We are in your debt, Yote.
Go on, Clyde. Give him your blessing. Tell them they can get married.
Let's find our friends.
It's plain she cares for you very deeply.
And I her, which is why I had to let her go.
As much as you're gonna say about the matter? I mean, I see 2 side quests here, and it's like, why?
Opportunity beckons. Who among you is that blade for hire, perchance? Because I have a mind to make a killing.
Figuratively, I hope.
Well, yes and no. A passing caravan carried with it a rumor most fortuitous for one in my trade, that an elder Dread Evis had been sighted in the fields of Korava. Dread Evis are aggressive beasts. Compelled as they are to acts of violence, few survive to maturity, but those that do develop a hide of phenomenal value.
A hide you want to sell?
Eventually, yes. Though I would have it tanned first that it might be crafted into marvels the likes of which the world has never seen. Dread Evis skin is a rare thing indeed. But the worked hide of a well-aged beast, now that would fetch such coin that Gilbert himself might weep with envy. Bring me that beast's skin, and I will share with you the bounty of our combined labors.
All right. I'll hunt your Evis.
Of course you will. When one lives in such troubled times, it is a fool who lets opportunity slip his grasp. Leave Tabor through the east gate, but take the path that branches west. Once you reach the checkpoint at Tovani, you are a mere stone's throw from the fields of Korava. I eagerly await your safe, and above all, triumphant return.
Alright, that's quite doable. Just kill a beast, return. It'd be easier to just fast travel over here than go up there. Because, well, this pathway is blocked, obviously. We'll check out around the town just in case there's a treasure coffer.
Scraps you are after.
Thanks.
After all, you never know when a treasure will be there. There might be something rare. Might have an equestrian role. Might have equipment. Just a grave. Treasure!
This inquiry's been hard to find since the skies turned.
Magic ash. Okay, that wasn't that great. But it may come in handy later on. Never know.
You! Finally. No one was paying me the slightest heed.
Is something wrong?
At the university, the students would hang on my every word. Sadly, this far from home, I'm just a vagrant greybeard.
The university? You're a scholar.
A specialist in ancient cultures. The most accomplished in all Valisthea, some have said. Not that I look the part.
So, what do you need from me, old man?
Rags.
Looks a bit like Gus.
No obstacle could have kept me from my studies. Yet here I am, a wizened windbag, bested by the many steps of Tabor. The answers I seek lying just beyond my enfeebled reach. Would you do an old man a kindness and brave the stairs in my stead? You'll be amply rewarded, of course.
I might learn something.
Climb the stairs and
memorize a few inscriptions for me, assuming you know.
These would be the gravestones, won't it?
Some courteous soul is rumored to have carved clues to Tabor's rich history into stones dotted about the village. 3 of them, to be precise. 1 each to the north, south, and east. I'm here in the hope that those carvings might shed light on a riddle I've been pondering for some time. Namely, the otherwise undocumented origins of Tabor's unique people. People quite unlike those of neighboring lands.
I can't promise I'll remember everything perfectly.
Remember what you can. I'll piece together the rest. Make for the domed pavilions, and you'll have no trouble finding the stones.
I mean, yeah, I've already passed 2. The third one's just up a little bit more stairs. Like 1, 2, 3. Children of the hunters, now tillers of the land, reap her promised blessing and give praise her gracious hand.
Farmers must have settled here in Tabor.
These inquiries been hard to find.
Wanderers of the Golden Plains, lay your roots in stone. With pride recall thy noble past, and make these rocks a home.
What golden plains might the wanderers have called home, I wonder?
Not a scratch on them.
Ooh, treasure. Goblin coins.
Why won't the sky go back to how it was?
Well.
I don't like it.
Guardians of the Crystal, the first stones of Tabor. Sacred hold thy noble blood, till ends the mother's labor.
No history would be complete without mention of the mother crystals. I should speak to the old scholar before I forget everything I've read.
How are those new boots treating you?
The engravings were in good repair considering their age.
Oh, what that I could have seen for myself. Oh, come, don't tease me now. What did you learn of this place and its people? Let's start with the engraving to the south, shall we? What did it say?
Pretty sure it's the Guardian of the Crystal. But I like the fact that one is the Great Good Moogle Guardians.
Guardians of the Crystal, The first stones of Tabor. Sacred hold thy noble blood, till ends the mother's labor. I'm pretty sure that was it.
Fascinating. It would seem the founders of this city were descendants of those fallen charged with protecting the mother crystals. But whatever could have driven the Guardians so far from their sacred charges, I wonder? The engraving to the north is next, I think.
Wanderers of the Golden Plains.
Wanderers of the Golden Plains, lay your roots in stone. With pride recall thy...
I'm actually really glad I read these out loud, because I otherwise would be a bit stumped here.
I think that was it, at least.
No doubt you're right. There are vestiges of nomadic customs in Tabor its guardian roots could never account for. This is proving most enlightening. Now, for the final stone.
Pretty sure it was Children of the Hunters, now Tillers of the Land.
Children of the Hunters, now tillers of the land. Reap her promised blessing, and give praise her gracious hand. That's all three.
And so, we add primitive farmers to Tabor's founding peoples, the final piece of the puzzle. 3 engravings, one for each of the 3 peoples to have settled Tabor in ancient times. Guardians of the Mother Crystal, wanderers from across the plains, and last but certainly not least, hunters turned farmers. Little wonder it was so difficult to trace the roots of Tabor's culture. Those roots reach down through 3 distinct traditions. Nonetheless, one cannot help but wonder why this fact is not better known among scholars, given that the stones stand here for all to see.
Too many stairs, perhaps.
Ha! Too many by far. Here, and thank you.
Alright, that one was simple enough. I'll do the other one and then we can continue, because my main thought, like, it is, I know earlier on I said the whole, it's like a couple streams back, like, oh, I have FOMO about missing out on some of the quests. But at the same time, like, my thought goes into, if I were to wait until after the story to do all the side quests, it would be too big of a challenge. I wouldn't be able to do it all. I also know there's, like, this isn't a quest location, but I thought, check for the chests. So I've run past these so many times, but I don't think I've ever looked. A little bit stuck there. Ignore the War Panther.
No holding back.
I was looking back there to see if there was another chest. Like, it's so hard to remember where I've actually explored and where I haven't.
Don't get surrounded. Time to
Again,
fight.
just ignoring the basic enemies. More interested in just the side quest, and I still got the south of Tabor, which here's Tabor, so it'd just be could be down the Gilded Path. Or it could be in this area we can't actually explore yet. But I may check here.
Straight home now. Old he may be. It looks like there's still plenty of fight in him yet.
Pull him down. Just big combo it. And simple enough.
This thing reeks. The sooner it's off my hands, the better.
Fly, Ambrosia.
Bit to the left. So it was a group of the dogs. That could be them. No, it's not them, because a cutscene would have started. Just a random Storm Panther.
Thanks, girl.
You lost, stranger. Wherever you...
Alright, so I'm not allowed into Dravozd. Alright, hand in this side quest. I can continue the story. The hunting mission will make itself apparent eventually.
Here's your hide, as requested.
I worried you might never return. Quickly, let me see it.
I mean, we kind of punched it a lot.
Oh, as supple as a maiden's cheek, yet as adamant as her virtue. This is everything I had hoped for, and more. Clearly, my trust in you was not misplaced. You must be a hunter of considerable talent to have bested the beast with nary a scratch. Join me as my honored partner. With my means and your might, we shall be as wealthy as the merchant kings of Zemeckis.
I don't plan on making a habit of this. I'm busy enough as it is.
Very well. Though I believe fate had a hand in our meeting, it would be unbecoming of me to beg. Do not allow me to keep you from being about your business. Here, for the hide.
Quest complete! Then again, no money, no ability, but just a meteorite and some more bloodied hides. They're not really worth it.
Cyril. How fares the search?
Well, Your Grace, my report shall be with you ere long.
Ah, yes. Yotei is otherwise engaged at my behest.
And the duty of wardenship?
Fulfilled. For as you see, I've been reunited with my first shield.
I am Cyril, Knight of the Undying and bearer of the Burning Quill, charged with chronicling the mortal deeds of His Grace, Joshua Rosfield, keeper of the Flame of the Phoenix and rightful Archduke of Rosaria.
I entrusted Cyril here with overseeing the investigation into Ultima's origins. Findings from his brothers and sisters afield are delivered here to be collated and catalogued.
Just how many Undying are there?
Not nearly enough, milady. Yet we are glad to give our all in service to the Phoenix. Such is, and has ever been, our creed.
I see.
You have your associates, I have mine. But you may now think of them as ours. That won't be a problem, will it?
The Phoenix is our sun, and we but the shadows that quicken in his radiance. It is from the darkness that we serve, both him and now you. Pray accept this token.
Ah, is it another? It's another seal! Settle the Phoenix down.
As you bear it, members of our order will reveal themselves unto you. If there is nothing...
I'm glad the Phoenix down at least made an appearance here.
Dismissed. Your Grace.
Like, until now, there's been zero mention of it.
We'll talk about this later. Cyril seemed very, You certainly keep strange bedfellows, Joshua.
Ah, Lord Rosfield. I'm afraid I cannot stay to talk. I must leave to collect the reports of our spies in the field. Now that you wear the Phoenix down, our brothers and sisters will no doubt reveal themselves to you too. Farewell, my lord, and may the Firebird's flame burn ever in your heart.
That's cool, so it's just... We'll start to see more. Oh, and now I can go through the gate to Tovany.
Are you sure this is the right way, bro?
No, it is not. But it is the right way to the hunting target. Alright, there they are. Yeah, they definitely look more fearsome. But it's only a rank C. Nothing to be concerned with, really.
Remember, you're on my side, Toril.
I don't know why they landed for a moment. I guess they're getting frozen. Yeah, punch, 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 punch. I mean, I wouldn't really call it notorious. That was just... I mean, I kept using Thrill of the Hunt, which I think is all of them fighting together.
Okay, boy.
But the tornado kind of interrupted that. Now, I know this isn't the right way, but again, couple items, treasure, something, just checking it out.
Get this over with.
I'm actually curious about that. So if I use Circle, I'm not in battle, it doesn't actually charge Mega Flare. You just very gently fly around. Nothing on this side? Okay. The fast travel will at least make it a little bit quicker to get back. I mean, I hope.
Ambrosia won't help me here.
Yeah, I should have just rid Ambrosia.
This is no time to ride.
The free city's under siege.
Or here.
Ready, go?
Orcs. Then let us
Oh.
get rid of them.
Too late. We're running past. The orcs did not concern me. Alright, just a broken wagon? I was hoping for something else.
Enough of you, are there?
I mean, I guess this area is more like a, hey, you want to train up a bit? Cart blocking the way. Alright, quest destination.
The free men are still holding their own, then.
Do we have any idea where Gav and the others might be?
There's a warehouse near the docks where we agreed to meet if there was any trouble. We should hurry.
I wonder who they're after. Like, I wonder if it's actually Mid that they're hunting down, if it's someone else. Oh no, another quest appeared. All the way up here in Bucklad. And in Lostwing. And at Martha's Rest. Okay, well, I am tired tonight. So I'm going to stream for a little bit longer. I mentioned earlier, I didn't get much sleep. I think it's like in the last 2 days I got 6 hours. So I'll probably do these side quests and then leave Canva for next time.
If we're going to
That's from Eloise.
Clive, your timing is impeccable. It just so happens that right at this very moment, we're in need of someone with your talents.
And what talents would those be?
Why, your fearlessness and your skill with a blade.
I'm listening.
Well, as I'm sure you're aware, when these dark skies swept over the Republic, so too did a wave of chaos and confusion. Randalar has been particularly badly affected. Many of the capital's bearers have lost their masters, or taken the opportunity to flee them. None remain free for long, of course. Most find themselves under the protection of the Fist before they get far. But the army too is in disarray, and finds itself unable to provide for its new charges. Which means it has been looking to sell.
And you've been looking to buy, to make sure these masterless bearers remain that way.
Precisely. It's the perfect opportunity to free dozens more, and for an attractive price, no less.
So where does my skill with a blade come in?
Though we may have the funds to buy these bearers, we have nowhere to house them. So we've been searching for a place where they can be resettled. Somewhere far from the prying eyes of those who would see them enslaved once more. And we believe we have found one. Cashlock. A small hamlet hidden in a canyon. The place was abandoned a long time ago, but when the men moved out, the beasts moved in.
And so we seek the aid of a fearless swordsman to encourage them to look elsewhere. You'll help, won't you?
Of course.
How could I refuse?
Excellent. Theo, if you wouldn't mind making arrangements for the transportation of our guests, as we discussed.
Of course. Leave everything with me.
Sounds like you'll have your work cut out for you.
I will. We have an entire village to stock and furnish. Residents and all. Even if I begin right now, I'll be working day and night. So I'd better get started. Try to clear the place out before the wagons roll in, won't you?
I'll do my best.
You will find a village in Chairdra's Thread, past Lateney's Cleft. My man there will open the gate for you.
All right. Wish me luck.
I'm sure you won't need it.
Let's prioritize it. Fireman Shan! Thank you for the raid! Welcome, Raiders! I am Temporal Nix. I'm a superhero-themed VTuber stationed in Australia. Same place as Fireman Shan. Hello, Tan! Good to see you. So how was For Honor? Did you get many wins? I'll also say I don't know how long I'm going to be streaming this for. I'm so tired. I had 6 hours sleep over the last 2 days. And part of that sleep had a dream where I don't know why, but really tall ceilings freak me out in dreams. It's like it's going to collapse on me. But how was your stream? And also, welcome, Raiders. How are you all? I hope you're doing well. So to explain the 6 hours sleep, not last night, night before, I pulled an all-nighter. Basically, Mother was going away, so I want to see her off in the morning. I know I can't wake up properly. So I decided to stay up all night, just to see her off. And then I couldn't get any sleep in the morning, afterwards. My brother turned up. It's like, alright, I'm here to steal you away. I mentioned like that's why I'm streaming tonight instead of yesterday. And I helped watch his son all day. I had an energy drink in the morning, and then I'd end up not getting any sleep until past midnight. And then his son, who's about 1.5, woke up at 6 a.m.
Nice place once.
And it will be again.
Well, hopefully I can. I mean, just to stream, I had to have my pre-workout drink, which it has a lot of caffeine, but it's not something that keeps you energized for a long time. I kind of have a good tolerance to caffeine. Oh, more enemies. Alright, these ones are getting the tornado. Come on closer, you lot. Yeah, punch, 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 punch. That was the wrong move. So instead I'll just beam him.
It's over.
See, at the moment, I'm doing some side quests in this. I mean, I feel like most of the stream's been side
I
quests.
think that's the last of them.
Because, like, last time I streamed this game on Tuesday, my internet cut out towards the end of the stream. So I started the stream, did one cutscene, and I unlocked a bunch of side quests. Then you go to this area, kind of just walk into the area. It's like, oh, you got a couple more side quests. You walk down here, oh, side quests. You do well, I think it was a side quest around here. Going to this town, more side quests. I just reached here, and the world goes, here's 3 more side quests. Like, why? Why so many? But I do enjoy them. You get to learn a bit more.
Something the matter, Theodore? Quiet.
Those are our terms. I trust that you will give them your full consideration.
I shall. Thank you.
Side quests are your enemies when you venture in these kind of games. I was going to save them for the end, but the side quests at the very start of the game, they cannot be completed after a certain point.
Someone you know?
Which is kind of annoying.
Yes. And, no. But enough about him. How did you fare down in Cashlock?
It's done. The village is safe now.
You made quick work of it, as always.
I should go and let Eloise know.
Don't let me keep you. But Clive, don't tell her I was watching her, will you? She'll only get upset. I'll explain everything once you've finished with your report.
All right. We'll speak then.
Side quests are good because you can get some unique rewards. Some of them give you a lot of ability points, which you need to unlock new skills. Although I'm just thinking, Raging Fist I have fully unlocked, as well as Lightning Rod. Wrong button. I'll get rid of Titanic Block and equip Phoenix. And that way at least I have another circle move I'm going to use.
Eloise, I just got back from Cashlock. The village should be safe now.
Thank you, Clive. Here, something for your trouble. Well then, now that you have laid the groundwork for our little project, I suppose we'd better finish the job. The first thing we'll need to do is make sure our offer for the bearers is accepted.
You're still in negotiations?
We are. A trusted colleague has been dealing with the Fist on our behalf, but things have been trickier than we anticipated. I suppose it's to be expected. This is the army we're dealing with. Fighting's what they do. But we shall emerge victorious in the end.
Well, if you need any help, you know where to find me.
I'm not sure I do, but thank you all the same.
I mean, just put a green marker above your head. I'll find you. Alright, then a brother wanted to talk. I guess still the cutscene.
Ah, Clive.
You wanted to talk?
The man I was watching earlier, the one speaking to my sister. He represents the Silver Consortium. It's one of the bigger trading houses.
I don't think I've heard of them.
Well, every trader in Dhalmekia has. They operate across the length and breadth of the Republic. And they're still expanding. They've been trying to get Eloise to join their ranks for some time now. And judging by her reaction earlier, I'd say she had half a mind to accept their latest offer.
And you'd rather she didn't?
I would rather she did what makes her happy. And I would never deny her such an opportunity. Eloise saved me from slavery. And we have striven to save others like me ever since. But this was not the life my sister wanted, nor the one she deserves. I won't let her give up on her dreams again for my sake. She freed me from my bonds. And she must be freed from hers in turn.
You're a good man, Theo.
I have always been grateful for what my sister did for me. And I want to repay the favor.
I'll also explain a little bit of this
But each
in a
time an
moment.
opportunity to do just that arises, she turns it down. For my sake.
She loves you.
And I love her. Which is why I want this time to be different. To show her that I don't need to be watched over anymore. Though I am sure I'll still need some help from time to time. I trust that I can count on you.
Always.
Thank you, Clive. Well then, I had to get back to work. These bearers aren't going to move themselves. That's a job for the Crimson Caravans.
That's when I explain things. Well, first I need to find a suitable person to help me with my explanations. One of these two?
Cards at the gate are in a right old panic.
Nope, they don't have any markings on their cheeks. Do you have a marking? No.
Please.
Alright, none of the beggars would have a marking. So every so often you'll see characters in this world where they've got a black marking on their cheek. And I kind of feel like this area is going to be a poor example of how to find, like, or what they look like, because everyone here's been treated as equals. But basically, you can find these people, and what it means is they're a bearer. They were born from birth with the ability to use magic. But this world looks down on them. They are unnatural. How dare they exist?
You'll buy something, won't you?
And it's even to the point where if someone has a child and they have, you know, the magical abilities, the parents just want to get rid of them. They're ashamed of the child. These bearers essentially have the tattoo on their face to mark them as such. and are then sold into slavery. They're second-class citizens or third class or fourth. They're below everyone. If you are seen with the marking and you don't have your master with you, then people are going to kidnap you, steal you, try to sell you, anything, because no one cares about you. The main character, Clive... I've got to go over to attributes to open up what I want. You can see he has a scar on his cheek. The depth of field... Can I change this to be really close? No. So essentially, he was born as a bearer as well. But because he's a prince, he was never... Well, and also because his dad didn't like the fact they were second-class citizens, he never was sold into slavery, obviously, and was to use it to... Like, his powers to protect his younger brother, who would become the new heir to the throne. He was the heir of the throne, basically. When the kingdom fell, he was taken in and sold into, as slavery for part of the army, and was branded with the tattoo. Later on in the story, like, he has it removed during a time skip. But a further side quest, which revealed this, reveals that removing the tattoo isn't a simple, zap, it's gone. Because what they do is they put in a part of a wyvern's tail under the skin, which is apparently extremely toxic. So if you were to try to surgically remove that skin, which is what they do, and you nick this thing, the toxin gets released into your bloodstream, you die. So once you're marked, you're meant to be marked for life. And trying to remove it or do anything, if you were ashamed of it and you did what Luffy did in One Piece and stabbed yourself, you're dead. Toxins released inside of you. And apparently it's a painful way to go. So it held people into, being a slave. Like, they were being subservient their entire lives. Removing it is also painful. But this is what Clive is essentially doing, is he is trying to change the world so people aren't slaves anymore. He has his own area, like his own hideaway. Aptly named the Hideaway, in which bearers that they save who wish to join them can live there. Originally, the vision was so that people can die on their own terms, but Clive has changed it so they can live on their own terms too. No two people should be treated differently. Now, to go about this, the world was scattered with giant crystals, much like this one over here. But throughout the story, we have been destroying them, to the point there's only one crystal left. The world is falling into disarray, but it has to fall into chaos to then be saved. So that's essentially what's happening in this. Like, we are 77% of the way through. I've progressed 2% of the story, apparently. Tonight. But I think all these quest people that I'm visiting now are people who...
I'll be taking you all to a storehouse in the Bales. Leave anything you don't need behind.
Yeah, they're all people who are trying to protect bearers as well. So this town here was founded to protect them. It's like this guy here. You can kind of see on his face. If I can get camera close enough. Oh, like, I know it's very dark to see, but he has the symbol on his cheek. This town was founded to protect the people who have run away from their masters. And it wasn't until an earlier side quest we found out the reason was one of the high members of a church used to torture these people, so they all came here wanting revenge. And I'm guessing that's what this quest is going to be about.
Clive, I fear that I must bid you farewell. As you know, our time grows short. The Lord Chief Justice's vultures are circling. We must strike now. Before we part, I want you to know that, though I may not always have been your most vocal ally, I trust you, as I trusted your predecessor.
Thank you. I appreciate the sentiment, and I understand more than anyone how you feel. But is revenge really the answer?
It is the one I found, and it is all that I have lived for since that day.
But what of Lostwing? Everything you've built.
I built Lostwing to achieve this aim. Once it is done, the village will have served its purpose. My comrades and I are sure of our cause, and we shall fight to the last, come what may. But there are those among us who cannot fight.
I haven't played Final Fantasy so long, I'm missing out. Thanks for explaining. All good. Like, every game has its own unique story, but this one was made by Naoki Yoshida, who is director of 14, and he just does an amazing job, in my opinion.
And so, Clive, I find myself turning to you once more. Will you take them to your hideaway, that they might live even should Lostwing die?
I will take the vulnerable villages. I'll also say this, like, it's funny because people were saying, like, in Final Fantasy XIV, you have the Gold Saucer, which is like a big casino / arcade sort of place. But people going, oh, how come we don't have slot machines? Like, can we get card games? Because we got Triple Triad, we have Mahjong. Can we get, like, blackjack or poker? And Yoshida basically said that every time there's a brand new expansion for the game, they have to resubmit it to every country around the world for an age rating. And for a game to get a brand new age rating can alter so much. So if a game came out as, like, for Australia, M rated, so you got to be 15 to play it. It's for mature audiences. Oh, sorry, it's not for mature audience, it's just a mature rating. I think MA is mature audience. It's kind of weird, I don't quite get it. But basically, it's if you're mature enough to handle it, you can play it. But I said that some countries will slap a game to its highest rating if there's gambling. So to throw in something like poker or blackjack, it'll just make it so much more difficult. Like in the countries that outlaw the such things, all of a sudden the game can't be played there. So he said, like, he can't really change too much about 14. So when it came to this game, the fact that you get, you know, a lot of blood, there's been, like, partial nudity. Like, they had a lot of that earlier on. There's a lot of swearing. Like, the fact that so many people on this swear. My goodness. To go from a game where it had nothing to this, it's like it's a bit of a shock. But he had a vision for what he wanted, and he kind of saw it through, and that's what I admire. It kind of makes me think if he had the chance to start, like if he could go back in time and start 14 from scratch, like when he initially did, he would change quite a bit. But he's also content where it is now. Hello, Naito! How you doing? I see you peeking in. See you with your little lurk. See you a lurk, and I'll raise you a lurk. I mean, I kind of want to change my lurk so it just says peek as well. Like, be similar but different. Although it's kind of like I've got to change that wall behind the lurk. Like maybe I will have it as grey as well, because he has a little hand and you can't even see his little hand. But how you doing, Naito? Anyway, I stared at this guy awkwardly enough for a while.
Thank you. I will not have it said that I did not see to the well-being of those who rallied to my cause. The people I speak of have withdrawn to Gotan's Bales, away from danger in case the Black Shield strike.
Understood. I'll make sure they get to the hideaway safely.
Then the last of my preparations are complete. Fare you well, Ive. And may Griga guide us. All of us.
For great justice. Oh, it's just...
Come then, brother. We are awaited in Gotan's Bales.
He actually comments on the quest. Wonder if that actually means that from here on out, Joshua's always going to be with you.
Ambrosia won't help me here.
I'd have to travel.
This is no time to ride.
There we go. 160 yards away.
Faster!
And I remember coming here originally like, whoa, it's so beautiful. I mean, now that everything's gone to disarray, it's less beautiful.
No need to ride from here. Everyone, Quinton has asked that you come with me. He can no longer guarantee your protection, but I can. There's a safe place I can take you to.
Well, if that's what the Master thinks best. Sid, none of us would be standing here today if it weren't for Master Quinton. We owe him our lives. So we ain't about to start telling him what he should do with his.
Like if you look on the ground, that
He ain't
okay,
safe in Lost
kind of
Window.
ruined now.
It's because he ain't coming back. And if that's what has to happen, then so be it. I only hope he can see this through to the end. That we get to see justice done.
I hope so too.
Oi! You lot! Where's everyone else? They ain't already left, have they?
They've gone with Master Quinton.
Fuck! Fuck! Fuck!
There's the swearing I mentioned.
What's wrong?
I've just come from the Justice's manor. We have to get Quinton to call off the attack. It ain't just the Black Shields protecting the place. He's got a guard dog and all. A fucking monster. They don't stand a chance against that thing. If I don't get the message to them, they're all gonna fucking die.
No. We can't let this happen. Sid! Don't worry about us. You've got to catch up with him. We can't let Quinton die before that bastard does.
All right. I'll do what I can. Where is this manor?
It's way over to the east, through the woods. Heaven Hall, he calls it.
Promise us, Sid. Promise us you'll do what you can.
Alright, so that place is going to finally get some use. But, getting as close as possible to the middle. I can show us something else to explain the game for the newcomers who are still here. So first I'll turn off Clive. So this is one of the people... Oop. I have to play with the field of view. You can see his hand has turned white. Yeah, in comparison to his other hand. The woman's wrist is turning white as well. And this guy here, his foot has turned white. Basically, if you're a bearer, as you use your magic abilities, your body starts to turn this way because of a curse. Or they call it a curse. It is apparently extremely painful when this happens. And slowly, the more you use your magic after this starts to happen, more of your body will turn white. I'm unsure if you lose the functionality of the limbs that turn this way. But eventually, it will slowly take over your entire body. And the more that's affected, the more pain you're going to be in. Then, if you use your last of your magic, you fully get taken over by this stuff. and you turn to dust. And this is basically to show that the people who buy the bearers to own as slaves don't care about their well-being at all. And the ones who are affected more are worth less. Which kind of goes into play with talking about slavery and whatnot. And why it's all bad. Yeah, it pretty much just turns to dust. It's kind of creepy. We saw it happen to a couple people in the story. Because they die and then it's just the body will crumble. Oh, it's a Coel. I mean, I don't want to battle it, but I just kind of want to see a Matagot. Alright, it's a special one. Punch of the Fallen. Okay, this is the right way. I easily get lost where I'm meant to go in this sometimes. It's like, I've been to this house a couple of times. Like, oh, I wonder what's going to happen here. Well, we get to finally find out.
Look. No. Don't tell me we're too late.
Oh, no. It's quite horrifying.
Quentin, are you all right?
No. But I am alive. Which is more than I can say for my comrades. They followed me without question all the way here. And they died. For nothing.
Another Coel.
This must be the guard dog. Quentin.
It's more of a panther, but you know.
Hold it off. You go. Your comrades didn't die for nothing. They died for you. Don't let their sacrifice be in vain.
I won't.
Come on, then.
That is no mere guard dog.
No. Mr. Rabbit.
Punch, 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 punch. Alright, big wombo combo time. Tornado, constantly getting zapped, and then a roar! $45,000 damage.
Enough.
Even got its whisker.
If only we'd arrived earlier. Is it over?
It is. He wept and begged for mercy. And I cut him from ear to ear. Just as I dreamed of doing all these years. All my plans. Building a haven in Lostwing. Freeing bearers from their chains.
It's a lot of blood on him.
It was all for this. But what is this? Justice? My faithful comrades. All those lives lost. So that I might take another.
Quentin.
Master Quinton! Oh, thank Grieger you're safe.
You're alive.
And so are you. I'm so sorry. I tried to warn you about that thing. And I hate to say it, but there's more bad news.
Black Shields are gone to the bearers.
It's been flooded.
What?
Flooded with aether or water? Okay, aether. So no one can live there, basically. They go in there, they turn to Kashyyyk, and they just become violent.
My lost wing.
And look.
Like this.
They must have stolen in after we left, just before the flood struck. What if there are still people in there?
Don't be a fool.
Now it cares less about revenge and more about helping people. That, I guess that's good character growth, but it's a bit too late.
Richard's not going to last long in there.
Can we finish this quickly?
Punch, 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 punch. And roar! That one's gonna try and get past me, but that's fine. If I punch this, they all get zapped. You know what? Tornado. No, wait, I used the wrong one. I mean, this still works. I'm gonna kill him. Probably a lot quicker than the tornado would've.
I need to find Quentin.
I was gonna turn.
Quentin! Quentin! Look at me! Thank the Founder. He hasn't turned. I'm going to get you out of here.
Sometime later.
Welcome back to the land of the living.
Is Lostwing?
The flood has filled the valley.
I see. Then all is at an end. A strange way to achieve one's life's ambition.
No, Master Quentin. Save your strength.
Why?
He's lost everything. All he's worked for in the pursuit of revenge.
All that I strove for is gone. Only emptiness remains. I have nothing left to live for.
What the heck are you on about? You've got us, ain't you? Don't try telling me you only freed us so you could get revenge. We're more than that to you, and we all know it.
I thought you weren't coming back. But I prayed, and you did. There's got to be a reason for that, right? Can't we just go back to how it was? You know, you looking after us all.
Your work ain't over yet, Master Quentin. We believed that you were the right man to lead us, and we still do.
Your village may be lost, but it seems your people aren't, so long as you remain to guide them.
But why? After what I...
He really needs to cut that blood. He looks like a serial killer at the moment.
Aren't we?
Family?
Yeah, and all our comrades who went with you, they felt the same. Lostwing weren't just a village. It was all of us.
It was. And as long as we're still here, it is too.
We can start again. Build a new Lostwing, right here in the Bales.
Maybe not so close to the Aether Flood.
One life ends, and another begins. Why just a village? We could build towns. A nation, even. What's to stop us?
That's the Master Quentin we know.
Please. I am nobody's master. Quentin will suffice. After all, we are family.
Like, if you stay too long in the Aether, you die. So they're just gonna have a new home right next to it.
Permit me to withdraw my request. I will no longer be needing your help in looking after my people.
I'll pretend you never asked.
But you must be rewarded for your efforts on our behalf. You saved my life twice over. And more besides.
A bottle or two of your finest red will suffice.
Of course. Nothing but the best. And I have a feeling that this year's vintage will be the finest yet. If you don't mind waiting, that is.
I look forward to it.
Quest complete. Hanged Man's signboard. So I just took his inn sign. I'm like, this is mine now. I'm sure you don't need it. Your town's ruined. A new accessory that I won't be using. The shop that was here is now gone. Alright, final area, Martha's Rest. Oh, so many quests. Or side quests.
Ah, Clive. Just the man I was hoping to see.
Oh? And why is that?
You remember how some of Sir Wade's guardians took up residence here after the Akashic attacked?
Of course.
Well, now the rest have come to join him. Seems their barracks in the Lazarus have been lost to an ether flood. Now, I don't mind having a few more brave boys around to keep them animals at bay. I ain't daft after all. But but we ain't got nowhere for 'em to bed down. Poor buggers are having to make do with haylofts and chocobo pens. I'd build 'em a new barracks here if I could. But where would I put 'em? There just ain't enough room up here on the rock. Which leaves us in a bit of a pickle. The people we're counting on to keep us safe are living like beggars.
I see.
And it ain't just that lot. There's bears to think about too. There's been more and more of them turning up lately, coming from all over looking for safe haven. But there's only so many we can shelter with the room we've got. We can't keep cramming more and more people into less and less space. What we need is a new home for our new arrivals. And that's what I was hoping you might help me with. If it ain't too much of a burden, of course.
Alright, so there's an overcrowding problem. The first one, which was... Oh, we're trying to buy the bearers so they can live on their own terms. Free the fishing village. The second one. Protect these ones. Oh no, our home was destroyed. We'll set up a new village. This one's also make a new village. This is going to be...
Perhaps I ought to put...
I didn't mean to say no. I bet you it's over here in Cressidia. Or Cressidia.
Oh?
Well, now...
Skip through that.
Where would I... Which lead?
I see.
And I didn't just been... But there's only... We can't keep... And that...
It's no burden.
Thank you, Clive.
So, where were you thinking of making this new home?
Well, I reckon we could do a lot worse than Eastpool.
Eastpool. It's been a long time since I thought about that place.
It was a tragedy, what happened. And if any of us could have done anything to stop it, we would have. But what's done is done. And those who lived there wouldn't have wanted the village they loved to be left in ruins.
I suppose you're right.
Right.
The blight
That's
might
the
be
place up
passing in,
north.
but I reckon it's got a good few years left in it yet. There's just one problem. A band of cutthroats have made it their den, and they don't seem like they'll be moving on in a hurry. Nasty bastards they are too. I've lost some good men to their raids. Would have sent someone to clear 'em out sooner, if my boys didn't already have their hands full fending off the Akashic. But now we've got a few more Guardians of the Flame to call on. I reckon it's time we made our move. What do you say? Fancy leading a raiding party?
I do. Eastpool was once home to people I loved. I won't have bandits sully those memories. I'll gladly drive them out of there.
And I know the men will gladly follow you. I've already shared a few thoughts with Sir Wade about how we might be able to win the place back. And I dare say he's got some ideas of his own too. Why don't you go and talk to him?
Of course.
I mean, I could just go in and kill everyone. That's what I've been doing for just about everything.
Back to Eastpool, then.
Not just yet. Let's hear Wade's plan first.
Alright, Wade, what's your plan? Catapults?
So Wade.
Just
Good
killing?
To see you well.
And you, Lord Rossfield. And you.
I spoke with Martha. She tells me you have plans to free Eastpool and make it your own.
That's right, though it was mostly her idea. I rather fear my men have been treading on her toes somewhat since joining us, not to mention each other's. And then there are the bearers, men and women who found the courage to flee their masters and sought refuge here. We need somewhere to settle them, and I can think of worse places than Eastpool.
As can I. Which is why I agreed to help you win it back.
That's very kind of you. I'd be most grateful if you would. With you beside us, we shall soon send that rabble of rogues running for the hills.
So, what can you tell me?
That thankfully there aren't too many of them. Fewer than a dozen at our last count. And rather less, thankfully. The road that leads there will more than likely still be crawling with Akashic. A small force would suffice to clear the village, but if the Akashic were to follow them in, that force could end up trapped between a rock and a very hard place indeed.
I'll head into Eastpool and deal with the bandits. You and the Guardians can stay outside the village and fend off any Akashic who come too close. Make sure I'm not taken unawares.
I can't ask you to bear all that risk yourself, my lord.
The Akashic are the bigger risk. I can handle a few bandits.
Well, if you're sure, I shall summon my men at once.
Shall I wait for you here?
No need, my lord. You go on ahead. We'll be with you before long.
All right. I'll meet you at Eastpool then.
We shall see you there. And may victory await our coming.
At least this one should be a bit more straightforward. Just kill, claim, congratulations, all done.
Caution. Who the hell are you?
You get a tornado.
You will leave this place.
Or face the consequences.
Four.
Get him.
Just
this one.
Juggle him in the air.
Sick him.
That's the end of that then. Or maybe not. What's that thing doing here? Doesn't matter. It goes too.
Use it the wrong spot. Oh, it's been upgraded. There we go.
Any more surprises? I'll take that as a no.
Bravo.
Didn't even need the help.
Magnificent display, my lord.
You were watching. I thought you were keeping an eye out for a Kashik.
We were. Put down more than a few on the road, then arrived just in time to see you slay that... whatever it was.
Let's hope it was the last of its kind. Though I expect you and the Guardians will be up to the challenge should another appear.
I would hope so, my lord.
Your men will be bringing the bearers who'll be living here, I assume. It might be best to send word for them to come right away, before any other unsavory characters move in.
Of course. I'll send orders for them to depart immediately. Leave it with me, my lord.
Sometime later.
Home. Without masters.
No. We're the masters now. Our lives are our own at last.
That's all of them, and not a single Akashek in sight. Now to begin the important work of rebuilding the place. It won't be easy, especially not after 5 years of beasts and blackguards having their wicked way with the place. The masonry might still be sturdy enough, but half the beams are rotted. Those that weren't lost in the fire or burned by the bandits, that is. It'll take a bit of elbow grease,
But we'll see Eastpool rise again. Just you wait.
So wait. Lady Hannah is buried here. If you don't mind, I'd like Oscar to join the rebuilding efforts. He should be a part of this.
Of course. I couldn't agree more.
I'll let Martha know that everyone arrived safely. If you need anything more, you have only to send a Stolas.
And we will, my lord. Safe travels.
Eastpool lives again.
Saw that appear. I'm like, oh, please tell me there's not another quest. Thankfully, it's just to hand this one in.
Ah, there you are. All went well then. Sir Wade told me you got rid of the bandits while his lot kept an eye out. Nicely done.
It was good teamwork.
And what's all this about some shape-shifting nightmare show?
It wasn't I, team.
On second thoughts, don't tell me. It'll only give me nightmares of me own. What matters is you did it. And now we can build our new village.
I suppose it will be. What will you call it?
What else? Eastpool. Sir Wade said it best. There's plenty bad happened to that place, but that don't undo the good that happened there. No need to throw the baby out with the bathwater.
Did Wade say that?
Well, something along those lines. Anyway, the poor souls might have made it to Eastpool, but their work ain't done yet. So the way I see it, neither is mine. If it's food or lumber or strong backs they need, the rest is ready to provide it.
Thank you, Martha.
No, thank you. You didn't have to help us.
I wanted to.
Quest complete. Alright, so that's all the new side quests. I will head to the hideaway, because I'm sure Desiree has something. New missives have been delivered.
Did you see that? Tell me you saw that.
See what? There's nothing out there. Oh, there's new Murgle hunting things. Alright, what are the new things here?
Help you today, Clive. Come to claim your just desserts?
A gift. Enclosed you'll find an item of high and strange order. One for which I require neither thanks nor recompense. Consider a reminder of where loyalists are best placed. Talisman of priming, so I'm guessing this just increases like your limit break. Get 85 more points to get to the next rank. Alright, Nectar. What are the hunting board things? There's only one. Man in Black. So let's read this. Greater part of those black shields who spied on Lostwing were taken by the Aether Flood. However, received reports that one yet survives. A zealot of their evil cause who persists in delivering any bearer who strays too close to his hiding place to a gruesome death. Alas, he has heretofore proved more than a match for the Cursebreakers sent to slay him. I thought there was going to be a question mark one, but no. Lost Wing, Sandbrack, Black Shield? Question mark? So I'm guessing it's someone in this town. Like, it just said one yet remained. And unfortunately, he could be technically anywhere. Wait. They left the Stolas! They cleared everything out, and the Stolas remains. Why? I mean, that's more of an oversight from the devs, really. But come on. That is so mean. The Stolas did nothing to you. I can hardly even see down here. And this took us to where we met Garuda initially. And I would assume this place would be a good spot for them to have thrown the notorious mark. Yep. Looks like I guessed right. Holy Trumpetor. Holy Trumpetor, Batman!
Bring out your barons! Let me and my daughter purge them of their sin!
Yeah, punch, 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 punch.
You'll regret doing my mother's bidding. Nice try.
Go for it! Still.
You're not leaving.
My goodness, that is a very insane combo. Missed time. Alright, big combo. $54,000. Can't see what he's doing.
This will show you.
A high potion. Oh my god, let me dodge. Pull him in. Lightning. Oh, it was a bit of a harder one.
Your work here is done.
Goodbye, terrible person. I also saw this chest over here. Basically just money items. Alright, check back at the hideaway. I know there's no more items from Desiree. Little sad. Quickly check out what...
Did you see the pair that got hauled into time?
Well, check out what the missives are. Oscar.
My Lord Marquis, I heard about Eastpool. That some of my fellow Guardians are to build a new home there. Both for themselves and for Madame Martha's bearers. Is it true?
It's true. The village is to be rebuilt.
I have many fond memories of Eastpool. When I was a child, we would visit my aunt and uncle often. They would lavish attention upon me as if I were the son they never had. I went to see Aunt Hannah after my uncle passed away, but not nearly as often as I should have.
Oscar, I'd like you to assist Sir Wade in the rebuilding effort.
But my lord, my training is not yet complete. I couldn't possibly.
I warned you I might not be the easiest of masters, but I'm not as hard-hearted as that. Go. Be with your aunt. Rebuild her home. Is what she would have wanted.
Yes, my lord. Thank you, my lord.
Just a fun little extra conversation. I mean, I had no clue that was there, but I'm glad it is. We got 3 new missives. From Karen, I regret that both you and the lump had to get all tangled up in the wicked weave of my sordid past. But thanks to your meddling, I was finally able to put to rest matters that were left too long to fester. And with that finally done, might be I can sit back and enjoy this new world of yours you're so keen on creating. One don't need a pair of eyes to see the good you've done. Jote, my Lord Marquez, in your absence shall I watch over my new charges, affording them every protection I am able. I only ask that you do the same for his grace. And Quentin, Clive, I cannot begin to thank you for all you have done for Lostwing. So in lieu of any awkward remerciements, I guess that's the word, I shall be sending several barrels of next season's vintage. I can only hope they finally turn you off that foamy swill you and yours so covet. Nice little thank you messages from the side quests. Whoop. Now, Hall of Memories, we still have quite a bit. I'm guessing these are like post-game things for a lot of them. So we have the Oath, Hanged Man's Signboard, the Guardian Scarf, Sid's Goblet, Continental Censer, Martel's Apples, and Ambrosia's Tack. We've got 7 items. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 more items to go. So many. Finally up 4 members on the team. Again. I think for a little bit we had 4. But yeah, I think that'll have to be all. Like at 1 minute to midnight. I would like to go longer, but I don't think I will be able to. I'm just that tired. I'll start a raid now. Go off and we'll raid Zeke the Human, another Aussie V-Trooper that I've met. He's a really nice guy. Hopefully you do enjoy your time over there. And again, apologies that tonight was a Friday stream, still my Thursday. I just really had to help my brother. And yeah, like I don't want to share details. Oh, sorry, gas bubble. Don't really want to share details, but it's just be good to your family, you know? I guess that's kind of a word of wisdom to share with everyone. Be kind to those around you, and you'll see kindness return your way. Do take care, everyone. My next stream's going to be on Sunday rather than tomorrow, just because I have to... Well, I don't have to, but I'm going to be helping out another brother tomorrow. Do take care of yourselves, and I'll see you then. Bye for now.